Anti-derivative Jill. Anti-derivative Jill.
There she is. There she is.
Greetings and felicitations.
Hello, I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch in Infinite Combinations number 96, where I'm continuing my journey through all of the episodes of Star Trek The Original Series. We're watching in production order, so we're on the episode Whom Gods Destroy, which is the 71st episode, and that means we only have 9 more to go. So I'm very glad that I have this panel with me to talk about this. I'd like to say hello to Scotty R37. How are you today?
Hey, panel, hey, chat.
Wonderful. And hello to Jim. Today he is Captain Duke Shepard. How are you today?
We're doing great. And you?
Wonderful. Fantastic.
Cool.
Pop culture curator, how are you? What's going on?
Hello, doing good. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited.
Of course, yes. These are the last 9 reviews. It's amazing. Hello to Stone Racket. How are you?
Queen to Queen's level 3. Are you sure? Queen to Queen's level 3.
I thought it was Queen to Queen's level 2.
That was 6.
No, 7.
Damn.
Stupid remaster.
Anyway, I'm doing okay.
Hey, Gorilla.
The answer you were looking for is Queen to King's level 1. Yes, hello to the chat too. And I'm so glad you all are here. We will get to you in a bit. So, reference to production of these episodes, some of it comes from Star Trek 365, which I learned about from Raquel Briggs on the Cloudburn Times channel. And they host a Saturday Night Star Trek at 9 p.m. Central Time. And it's a lot of fun. We're into Voyager season 5 over there. And I also make references to These Are the Voyages by Mark Cushman because he has some great stuff. And even though my slides go in order, I don't mind if you want to talk about different parts of the episode as we go, because you're going to feel some things about some certain things that you want to talk about sooner. And so I'll read the preview for Whom Gods Destroy from the 365. While delivering a promising new drug to Elba 2, Kirk and Spock discover, a bit too late, that the inmates are running the asylum. The patient in charge is Garth Avizar, once a brilliant starship captain whose exploits were required reading at Starfleet Academy. Kirk learns, was rendered mad by a serious accident that left him badly injured. The well-meaning inhabitants of Antos Bohr helped him repair his damaged body by teaching him cellular metamorphosis techniques. Once recovered, Garth learned how to use the same techniques to change his appearance at will. Now criminally insane, Garth plans to use the Enterprise to escape from Elba. If he can just get Kirk to reveal the code phrase that will convince Scotty that he is actually Kirk. And that's a pretty good synopsis of what's going on today. So I want to thank all of you guys for joining me on the stream. Thank you to the panel and thank you to the chat. The chat seems to be going pretty well here. Hello to Franco Walker. And Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU. Great to see you here. Also great to see Stone Racket. This episode features an Orion woman portrayed by the lovely Yvonne Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Very lovely.
Mm-hmm.
However, I can't give this episode that high of a grade due to the fate of poor Martha.
She's an insane attempted murderess. I'm glad she exploded.
Well, they make her very annoying from the very beginning, and which is hard to believe for Yvonne Craig. But I think they try to make it easier that way, so that when they write her off, you don't miss her so much. I don't know.
I miss her.
She's
But I want to thank you, Jill, for that very, very first video of her dancing. That was cool.
You're welcome. She's very, yeah. Vulcan children are not so coordinated, which will make more sense later.
Damn.
The Comic Relief Crusader. Hello.
Hey, CRC.
So great to see you. And also, hello. Franco Walker says, I just watched the episode. First time in about 5 years. I'd forgotten what happened to her. Yeah.
I didn't.
No, I don't think, I don't know that she was all that annoying. She was supposed to be crazy.
She was.
She was.
Even a puppy agreed.
Yeah, the puppies are agreeing with
Yeah,
Pop.
exactly.
Right on cue, Pooch.
And I am sorry for being a little bit late. I just wanted to make sure this was good today. Because these are the last 9. I want them to be awesome. And hello, Kapla.
Kapla.
Bird of Prey
Kapla,
5.
bird.
So glad you are here. Also glad Gavin Blackburn is here. He's already given us a review. A+ episode. Don't care what anybody says. And that's fair enough.
Well, I never.
Hey,
Yeah,
and Jim's on the same page too.
All right.
Okay,
A+.
smokes. Look at all those pluses and all those A's before.
It's that Orion woman, man.
Yeah.
Ariba Val says, what's up? Plus C Nation. And
Hey.
hello to Sci-Fi Sit Dan. Great to see you.
Hey,
Sci-fi
sci-fi.
sit down.
Oh, FKHC is off today. Hey.
And there was
Hey.
much rejoicing.
Spock must
Yep.
be looking at something on the woman and thinking fascinating.
That's-
Well, no,
He gets sidelined a couple times in this episode.
he says nostalgic. Well, yeah, I was I read a few things saying that Shatner was kind of a little full of himself on set, but I don't really know for sure what the truth is on that.
I want to hear the rumors.
Because the rumors are from Craig herself, so
Yeah.
I don't know really how much she seems to be really into the drama, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
exactly how
I
much is real.
I say that's apocryphal.
It could be, yes.
Yeah.
It's from her, so
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
also, if I were the series lead and I was getting green makeup from another actor on my beautiful Starfleet tunic, I would be kind of pissy too.
Mm.
Speaking of pissy, Gavin says Jill is throwing her tantrum in the control room. But
Uh-oh.
Are you pounding the floor, Jill?
no, Scotty was right. I was just fiddling with the computer's memory bank.
There you go.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly what I was doing. Oh, Mr. Lundale says, whom gods destroy. They first make mad. You, sir, are mad.
John Brown,
Quote by John Brown.
which is the quote from which this episode's title is derived.
Oh, Sub Commander Tall says, I never cared for this episode personally. I don't like Steve E. Nat's performance.
See, I was Sub Commander Tall. It's good to see you, and we will discuss.
But he does like the world building of Axanar. Yeah, this is the first mention of Axanar. And Kirk's bit about he and Spock being brother. That's my favorite part of the whole episode. Sub Commander Tall, you hit the nail because Spock and Kirk are brothers. For sure.
Mhm.
I like the qualification that Spock gives, though. While I think that
Here we
he's
go.
saying it with emotions.
And more facts from the
agree.
chat. Gavin Blackburn says this episode was banned in the UK. First time I
Mhm.
saw it as a foreigner was on a foreign VHS tape. with the sound down and the English track on the C90 audio tape.
Yeah, so
Ah,
I wonder if it was because of what happened to Yvonne Craig's character.
hmm
It was because of the depiction of mental illness. UK
Yes.
didn't approve of that, and it wasn't aired until the 90s, according
Well,
to Internet Movie Database.
Well,
yes, you're right about the
I can
mental
see that.
illness, but it was probably also the explosion and the torture because they didn't like the
Yeah,
sadism either
yeah,
on top of it.
What's funny is what they show here as far as torture is mild compared to what the real insane asylums did.
exactly.
Right. And I wonder if this episode's hinting on that. I want to say hello to Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Jim
Gorilla.
Hey,
Sanskip,
Gorilla.
I already said Darius Munchausen. And
Darius Munchausen. It's a pleasure.
already done.
yeah, and classic comics. Funny that you're doing this episode. I'm discussing A Prelude to Axanar on my channel this afternoon, which
Ooh.
features Garth as a main character.
Which I've
Wow.
not seen.
Classic Comics. I did
Hmm.
watch that in preparation for this episode because I figured that it may arise.
I thought I heard that it wasn't complete. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's right. It was just a preview, an incredible preview, but they never actually, unfortunately, they never actually finished it. And unfortunately, one of the stars of it recently passed away, Gary Graham, and
Yes.
I don't know what they would do if they ever actually are going to finish it. They're going to have to figure out how to do it without
But-
one of their main characters.
But they had somebody portray Garth in it.
Yes. I think it was Alec Peters.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Alex plays that role.
Yeah, obviously not the original actor, right? He died at a very young age.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm sorry. Yeah, he did. He died at 37 from a heart attack, and that is very sad.
That's too
Yeah.
young.
That is tragic. Like in this age of hearing of
Mhm.
celebrity deaths, like 37 years old, he seems like such a
It's
vibrant man, and
incredible. Yeah,
That's
too young.
incredible. Just a few years after this episode was filmed.
I would call it clean living, red meat and cigarettes.
And I never would imagine that he was that young. I mean, they did a good job of making him look older in this episode because I think he's supposed to be portrayed as older than Kirk.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the prototype for all starship captains after a series of wars that the Federation got through with Starfleet. And Action Com has an interesting point. Maybe Marta is the origin of Harley Quinn.
That's a weird observation, and when I say weird, I mean intriguing, and just because there are a lot of Batman, we've had a lot of Batman 66 in these last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
With Lee Merriweather as Catwoman, we got Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, and now we have Batgirl. It just
Yep.
seems the cross pollination of talent seems to be apparent.
Yeah, 3 episodes in a row we get Batman actors. That in production order anyway, not in broadcast.
It also seems to be evident crossover between Lost in Space and Star Trek and Batman. We're getting Malachi Throne next week.
That's right.
Oh, there you
And
go.
we had
Oh,
somebody last night from Star Trek. So, yeah.
Nice.
Well, we have a request in the chat from Darius Munchausen. He says, "Was that a clip? Do you have a clip of Scotty greeting me in a funny voice?"
No, that was not a clip. That was just me being excited to see you, Mr. Munchausen.
No, I think he's asking for this.
Welcome to Jimmy's.
No, he wants Darius Munchausen. It's
Was
there.
Scotty drunk that day?
We'll double back.
So
Too
it's a
many
shame
TVs.
Adam West never appeared in Star Trek. No, he
Agreed.
didn't. But he was in Robinson Crusoe Goes to Mars.
Yes.
Robinson Crusoe on Mars.
Yes.
On Mars, yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of a stickler for detail.
No, that's totally fine. Don't worry about it. You don't have to over-explain your corrections. Just make the correction and
That's
move on.
another problem I have. I over-explain.
Nah, you're good. Corrections are
You're in
appreciated.
trouble. You got in trouble. Okay, so Who Gods Destroy first aired on January 3rd, 1969. Has a story by credit for Lee Irwin and Jerry Soule with the teleplay. But oh, wait a minute, this is the actual episode. We'll get in trouble for that.
Uh-oh.
Yes, but that was a beautiful shot of the outro.
Hey, what are you doing?
Who day?
Okay, my production
Hey, look, it's Commodore Pike.
is a little shaky today. I'm having fun though. Let's see where I am.
No, Commodore April. That was Commodore April. my
April,
mistake.
yes.
Oh, it's April.
Yeah, I'm just looking for my slides because they disappeared. Where did they go?
Oh no, I'm sure.
Has
that's fine.
April showed up in New Trek yet?
I think he
I
did.
guess.
I think they race swapped him in Strange New Worlds.
Exactly. That's what happened.
I'm not defending. I'm just answering a question.
Yeah, no, you were just talking. Somebody asked about the filth, and so you answered. It's totally fine. I'm looking for the slides.
Yes. Small thanks to the Starfleet.
Yeah.
Do you want to say hello to Devil Flyer Momentum, who is giving Jill one of them hails?
Hello, Devil Fire.
And
I
Classic
apologize.
Comics says the Prelude film is complete. Prelude to Axanar, yes. The Axanar film is unfinished. However, their website says they plan to release it in 2024. That's this year. They've said similar things before, though. Yes, they have.
Yeah, I know, right? I wasn't taking that seriously.
Yeah,
I mean, if they do.
Someone keeps carrying that torch.
My Harry Mudd fan film. That's not coming out either because of lawsuits.
What's going on? Where is this? All right.
It's a Unix system.
Dang.
Okay, while I figure out where this is.
Oh no! I'd like to welcome everybody who is watching on other platforms where I'm looking at the YouTubes, but I'd like to thank everybody for being over on Twitch and Facebook and Twitter or X. Are we rumbling or no?
No, we're not rumbling today. I was remiss on that one.
What? Your file trees are great. I always enjoy your file trees.
Not today. Oh my gosh.
We do have slides, ladies and gentlemen. She puts great effort and production value into every broadcast.
I do. And I don't know what happened to them.
I do want to give a special shout out to Matt G, because not only is Taylor Swift greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, but also greater than the Super Bowl. So thank you, Taylor Swift, for not being the halftime show, being the full-time show.
All righty then. Damn writers.
But while Jill is organizing, I just wanted to ask you guys about Axanar. Like, how do you feel about the production itself? Pop culture. I'm sorry, I don't mean to exclude you. I know you said that you hadn't seen it.
Oh, no problem.
But in terms of prelude to Axanar, watching it, the production value on it is fantastic. The cast is really impressive because you get Tony Todd and J.G. Hertzler and the aforementioned Gary Graham. Like it is engaging as a sort of history of the future. I understand. And so how do you guys feel about Prelude to Axanar?
It's great. I watch it all the time, over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's a shame that CBS Paramount went after them, and it's obviously something far superior to anything that New Trek has produced. And it's a shame that it wasn't completed.
But Stone Racket, I do have to ask, like, and there was a push by J.J. Abrams during the time of the lawsuit, because Prelude to Axanar was, or Axanar's production, if I understand correctly, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, but it was sort of the using of an IP without permission of the studio itself. And I agree that it is better than anything that New Trek has produced, hands down. What about the protection of the studio of their intellectual property?
It's could be a similar situation if Paramount wanted it to be, as George Lucas, Lucasfilm was with the fan films, as long as they weren't making a profit.
Which, yeah,
you know, this is the ultimate fan made film. You know,
I agree.
well.
But I do think that there is ownership from the rights owners of the intellectual property who have to protect that. And
yeah, it was a fan funded film, but they weren't going to make a profit off of it.
And unfortunately, with the lawsuit, there has been there have been documents released that indicate that there was profit procured by.
Yeah, well, then they're in deep doo doo.
And that's like, in terms of the creativity of Prelude to Axanar, that whole kit and caboodle, I admire what they created, but when it comes to rights, like, I can't go and make a Back to the Future 4. And that's because someone else owns the right. It's not my intellectual property. And so I can't tell the tale of the continuing voyages of Marty and Doc. And I think that there is a level of protection. When it came to George Lucas, he acknowledged the extended universe, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But when it came down to the business aspect of it, if something was discarded or denounced, it was ultimately up to the intellectual property holder.
Yeah, like I said, George Lucas had no problem with the fan films. And in fact, they would have an annual celebration of these Star Wars, the fan-made films. And so with it's too bad that the same can't be said for Star Trek. So that's basically where I'm coming from.
And it's,
and it's basically like that fan-made film done by kids for Raiders of the Lost Ark. They recreated it with, video cameras, VHS tape. Mm-hmm. Look where that went.
Well, and it's interesting at this time of
it's just that the people that hold the copyright, sometimes they are cooperative with fan-made stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Well, hey guys, I don't know where my files went, but I have all the pictures, so I made a new slideshow, and so
I'm gonna. That was quick.
Yeah. So, but it's not going to be as smooth as I usually do, because I usually have video and everything. Oh my goodness, Ariba Bell just became a member. Thank you so much, and thank you, Scotty, for giving us a conversation to fill in for that
LDG
time.
Free the Net. Congratulations on your success, sir.
Yeah, tremendous success.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. That's some wild stuff you got going on.
Everyone, go check out LDG Free the Net. His I don't want to say crusade, but it's the first word that popped to my mind. It is a valiant one.
I think that's not a bad word.
But I do, and for our last reference to the filth, well, actually, it'll probably.
Well, geez,
but it was J.J. Abrams who was an advocate for the fans to be able to make their own Star Trek stories, and I do want to give him some credit in terms of cultivating the creativity and enthusiasm of the fans. That was something that he said, and this is where the filth comes up. That is something that he said while he was in the process of releasing Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh dear.
Well, it
I'm
wouldn't be
so
the
sorry
first
for saying that out
time
loud. Oh.
Yeah.
creators wouldn't be the first time the actions of a creator don't match up with their words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's
Star Trek into dumbness.
yeah. Well, speaking of the
Hashtag not my
insane asylum.
con.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of the insane asylum, we're going to this planet Elba 2.
Beautiful.
Oh, well, it's poisonous world, I guess.
No,
That's
I mean
one
your
way to.
segue.
Oh, thank you. So again, this episode has a story by credit for Lee Irwin and Jerry Soule, with the teleplay by Lee Irwin. There's some stuff in the Cushman book. Soule actually hadn't seen Dagger of the Mind, so all of the similarities you see in this episode from that, he was not aware of it, and NBC wasn't aware of it. Fred Freiberg wasn't aware of it. Nobody was aware of it until the, I guess, even though Bob Justman wasn't really around, he wasn't really a co-producer anymore. He sent in some notes about this anyway, so I guess he was very kind to be able to say, "Hey, this is this is Dagger of the Mind." And
well, and apparently Leonard Nimoy was totally on board.
Yeah, him too. Yeah, definitely, he did too.
Well, I thought the original outline, NBC objected to it, and one of the reasons was the fact that they had already covered that ground in Dagger of the Mind.
Yeah, that was that was one of the things. That was definitely part of it, and it was actually a little more intense. So the writer had to make it a little less intense in terms.
Yeah,
of
he had to go through more than once to tone it down.
Yeah, definitely. And the bridge scene. So this episode is directed by Herb Wallerstein, and the bridge scenes were directed by Judd Taylor, who just finished directing "Let That Be Your Last Battlefield." Oh man, it's so weird to have to actually step.
It sounds like they're down to it sounds like at this point they're down to a skeleton crew.
Well, and there are budgetary constraints that are obvious in this episode.
Including the lighting. I was going to mention that. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
A medicine with which the Federation hopes to eliminate mental illness.
So this is one thing I do like about this episode is, I mean, I guess it is kind of strange to have a pill that can solve all of mental illness. Like, I guess if in the future you're already down to 14 criminals, then you must have been pretty close to this solving this issue.
Yeah, so I think it's called Xanax.
Well,
it's
I
called
think
PBR.
I wonder if this might have influenced Star Trek 4 with the pill that grows a new kidney, which makes a little more sense. But I still enjoy this idea that there's hope for people who have these issues, and it can be this easy, but of course it's never going to be this easy.
Yeah, and it's a drug that they never mention again.
Yeah, right. This is something that should be used everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone should have access to it, unless it is more specialized.
Yeah, it's incredible too. Back then, they never would have imagined our day and age where the mental ill are just kicked out into the streets,
or over medicated.
Yeah,
both, right? They're legalizing drugs. Fentanyl's legal in the Bay Area and lots of parts of California, among other states. So also assisted suicide.
Hey man, I live in Canada. Both of those, bribing the electorate with marijuana and supplying them with assisted death. That's just par for the course when you wake up in the Great White North.
Yep.
Hey, Jill, the actor on the left, Key Luke, he is Master Po from the Kung Fu series, as well as, of course, Charlie Chan serials from the 40s, 30s, and 40s. He was number one son. But
and he's a Mogwai.
He's
not the Mogwai.
Oh,
Yeah, he sells Mogwai. He's the one that he's grandpa. He's down there
that's
selling
right.
that Mogwai.
That's right.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's interesting the kung fu connection here with Leonard Nimoy on the right, because David Carradine used Nimoy's portrayal of Spock as kind of a template for how he portrayed Kwai Chang Caine in Kung Fu.
Well, I haven't seen Kung Fu yet, but I liked him in this performance, and I'd be willing to see more of him. He was really cool.
Yeah.
The 365 book has a bit about it.
Cool.
Visitors checking out the star-embedded sidewalks of Hollywood will find a particularly noteworthy one in front of the historic Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel near Grauman's Chinese Theater. Few actors within the pantheon of celebrities honored on the Walk of Fame are more deserving than Kay Luke, who played Governor Donald Corey in Whom Gods Destroy. The actor, who was born in China and raised in Seattle, Washington, began his career as a mural artist. Among his many works are murals on the walls of Grauman's. But Luke soon laid down his brushes, trading them for grease paint and dozens of appearances on the big screen. For several decades, Luke was the go-to actor for productions that actually cast Asians as Asian characters. His breakthrough role was early on was Charlie Chan's number one son. Oh, that's the one you mentioned. In the 1930s, Charlie Chan Mysteries, which featured Swedish actor Warner Oland as the first incarnation of the Chinese detective. He would eventually play Chan himself in the 1972 animated series The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan. Over the years, the prolific actor appeared often recurring roles in more than 200 movies and television titles, from Kato in 1940's Green Hornet films to appearances in television's long-running series MASH. After playing Corey in Star Trek, Luke moved on to a seminal role as Master Po, that's the one you mentioned, on Kung Fu, and continued to act until his death at the age of 86 in 1991. Wow, he never quit.
Well, and I do like with the characters that Key Luke did portray. I elevate and exalt in the same way that I do to George Takei, is that it is much more about the character and much more about their gravitas, as opposed to highlighting, oh, I've had it hard. I'm from a marginalized like society, and I overcame. And it's like, no, Donald is so amazing in this episode, because even with the hardship that he has been suffered by Lord Garth, it's just like he's just another member. He's just another guy, and his physical attributes have nothing to do with his intelligence, his compassion, or his drive. And I do appreciate that about Star Trek.
They're from a different generation. They don't push virtue signaling first.
Well, the 90s were good, and then we got into the segregations of the 2000s.
Mm-hmm. So, well said, Scotty. So another thing that is very hopeful, the hopefulness of this episode, is that this is one of the this is the last, does it say the last mental institution that we still have, even though it's not quite the last one in Star Trek's history. So we're going to have a few more, like the one in Star Trek 3.
Well, no, that's a sick bay. That's not a mental institution.
Well, they called it the Federation Funny Farm, so maybe you're right.
It was colloquial.
Yeah. That's right. I spaced that one off. Thanks, Jill. It's like, yeah, that's referred to as the funny farm.
The Nut House.
The Nut House. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's the 23rd century. Why are they using those terms?
Well, and that the uniform that Garth is wearing right now is akin to one of the uniforms worn by a commissioner in season 1, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the same. It's the same one. according to the Cushman book. It's the one. It's the commissioner. Is it, oh,
Gordon?
It's fair. Commission. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry, there's too much
Batman.
Batman going on.
Now, Commissioner Ferris that's
Yes, it is.
Is that the wrong episode?
No, I think Commissioner Ferris is correct.
Okay.
From Galileo 7.
Yeah, from Galileo 7, the real uptight, you know what?
Mm-hmm. That guy was something else.
Yeah, and he actually in the Cushman book, I think it's related, Jill, if you can correct me. I think that particular actor complained about Shatner telling the director, well, you got to shoot from this angle, because he didn't want the actor playing the commissioner to upstage him.
Well, also it's a matter of height.
And a matter of height, I do believe. Yeah, I do believe that's correct too. Yeah.
I do believe it when I hear stories about him wanting to make sure the camera doesn't show him as short. I do think that is totally real.
Yeah. Well, Bill, we can put you on a apple crate. No.
Great. Yeah.
So going.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. Did you have something?
No, that's all right.
Okay. So pop culture.
I was just going to say, if he had issues with his height, they could have easily given him lifts.
Right?
That's what Desi Arnaz did for Out of Lucy. He wore lifts because she was so much taller than him.
So
yeah, but Shatner did have lifts.
I guess they weren't good enough for some people.
Yeah, they weren't good enough for him.
So Garth of Izar was. Oh, okay. Sorry, Scotty.
No, please continue, Jill. Please.
Garth of Izar was played by Steve Enit, and he was in high demand in film and television. He was 34. He was in Roddenberry's unsold pilot called Police Story, which aired in 1967. He starred in The Inheritors, and which is the only 2-part episode of The Outer Limits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an excellent. Except it for budgetary reasons, it's limited, but it's an excellent 2-parter.
Oh yeah, I definitely need to get into The Outer Limits because I love the newer one that was in the 90s.
Yeah,
right,
Steve.
It's no Twilight Zone, but it was very ambitious.
Yeah, it was ambitious, and the budget kind of killed it. But they were under a lot of pressure to keep the budget down, and especially in the second year. So.
Well, that's a constant theme with 60s television, I suppose. And then he was also in Gunsmoke and Bonanza as playing intelligent bad guys. Oh, hey, there's a connection there here.
Yeah, I was going to say real quick that Steve was in one of the best episodes of Mission Impossible. It was from the 3rd season. It was The Mind of Stefan Miklos. And that's an excellent episode with the original cast. Excuse me, most of the original cast. Of
the mind of Stefan had everything.
Yeah, it's a great espionage. It's I would say the most realistic of the espionage type missions they had. It was the closest to what you would assume would real intelligence and counterintelligence would look like.
I would say anybody who has not seen the original Mission Impossible really should, because it was basically the sister series to Star Trek.
Yeah.
And a lot of the production, the people, the crew, everything, obviously they were both Desilu, and they were out at the same time. But it's highly recommendable, and it's much, much better than the movies.
Oh, yeah.
Do it justice.
Oh, yeah. I agree totally.
Okay.
And it was great because Herb Solo had both the Star Trek, the second pilot for Star Trek, and the pilot film for Mission Impossible, and he went to New York and sold both series based on those films.
Cool.
So he comes back with a big smile on his face, and he sold both pilots for Desilu, which was incredible.
That's great. Let's go on with the episode.
It's been too long since I've had company, Jim. Garth of Izar. the former Starship Fleet captain.
Yeah.
I want to pronounce his last name Steve Einat. I want to say it the same way as Izar. I don't know if it's accurate.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either, but that's good enough for me.
I do enjoy the lighting and pop culture. In terms of the lighting of Marta, I find it fascinating because there's obviously a green gel on the light to accentuate her green makeup.
I think it was actually
also, go ahead, Jill.
It was also used to make sure that if anybody was touching her, the green wouldn't show up on them.
Yeah,
or
and
it wouldn't
also,
matter because
and also if there was any, how did Yvonne describe it? When, I'm trying, not streaks in her makeup, but she described it differently. But any flaws in the makeup, the green gel would even out any, unevenness of the body makeup.
But I do also want to remember the chat. So Brogu's also here. Hello to Brogu. I hope you're having a good day.
Hello there.
Brogu.
Mm-hmm.
Howdy
Yeah, so I'm great. I'm glad to see you, Brogu.
Brogu is 7, but he looks a lot older.
And for Ariba Vel, who became a new member, I forgot to play something for you.
Uh-oh.
So let's do that. It's not a problem. There
you go.
Risk is our business.
Yay.
Welcome, sir.
This unit is different. It is well ordered.
And pretty.
Yes. Thank you. And Jill said that, Franco said that was really quick. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my videos. They just disappeared. I don't know what's going on. LD, but I figured it out. LDG says, thank you. It's just the first hurdle. Let's see where it goes. Yeah. Hopefully it what you're doing has some good benefits.
It's looking good so far.
And I appreciate that you see it as the first step towards a journey and not as a goal unto itself, LDG. You know I'm a fan, and I congratulate you on your success.
Franco Walker says they never mentioned it again because everyone was cured and everyone was happy.
And there was much rejoicing in the land.
And she dead.
She gone. She's in pieces.
Yeah, but that was Garth. That was Lord Garth's problem. He did that.
Oh, Classic Comic says Nimoy once said Bill comes to set to win, not to work.
But I don't see that as a negative, considering that you are like the worst thing that when people talk about Bill in the show is that he wasn't a champion of the show. He was self-aggrandizing. But I think that as the star of a show, you have to, at least at that time period, you had to stand above the people who were following you. Am I mistaken?
Well, if you're looking at it from the outside in, that sounds wonderful. But if you're a fellow actor, that sounds like every day it's competition, which sounds like it could be tiring.
Well, and also, I want to contrast with how the cast of Enterprise views Scott Bakula as him being sort of the quarterback of that team. And if you are playing against your own team, I can see how that would be frustrating.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think that if you're the star of the show, you should have a little humility. But there's nothing.
At least stand up for your coworkers.
There's nothing the matter with me.
Yeah, but lest we forget that Nimoy also had an ego, and it got down to one point where they had to go to Roddenberry's office, and of course Roddenberry hated confrontation, but both Nimoy and Bill and I believe Robert Justman they were all in Roddenberry's office, and it just got down to it to Gene, who's the star of this show? And Roddenberry goes, well, it's Bill. Bill's the star of the show.
Uh-oh.
Well, and
Well,
later on, the star of the show became the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
But when it seems like when Nimoy had a problem, he had good reasons. It was usually character based. He was like, my character wouldn't do this. I don't, and that's
Oh
exactly
yeah,
what happens in this
oh yeah.
episode.
I'm not taking any away from Nimoy, but the thing is, it did get down to the point
Mm.
where, you know, his ego was.
He was asking for
you
a
know,
pay increase in season 2 to the point where they made up a list of people to replace him with, and they showed him that list, and that's what changed his mind ultimately.
Oh yeah,
Well,
that
and
is a good point.
don't forget that later on they were not sure whether or not they could continue Star Trek without Spock, without Nimoy.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and that was very apparent, and arguably it was part of the reason why they gave him Star Trek 3 and 4. Like, forget the fact that those are good movies, but there was Leonard Nimoy was a shrewd businessman, and I think, like, I see that with Bill, but I think Bill picked it up from Leonard.
Well, his
Well,
direction
Nimoy,
was negotiated later on. That was after the success of Star Trek 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically he said, you want me back? I want more money. I want to direct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and when you see my face on a billboard, I should be getting something from that.
Yeah.
Exactly. All toys, all royalties, which I don't blame him for.
Yeah,
No,
I don't blame anybody. I
that
think
makes sense.
all actors, wherever their likeness is used to sell anything, they should get a cut.
A perfect
I
example is
appreciate-
famous lawsuit between Crispin Glover and the Back to the Future team. He
But I
won that
appreciate-
because of that.
Well, that was
Right.
that was likeness theft.
Yes, which is basically what we're talking about.
Well,
If
no,
they use your
likeness-
image on a product without paying you, they're using your
Oh.
likeness.
the infamous Heineken ads. Yes.
Oh, I just want to say, this Andorian, his name is Dick Geary. He's
That
been
doesn't
in
sound
Star Trek
Andorian.
before. He was in Is There in Truth No Beauty, The Empath, and Wink of an Eye. And he's going to come back for the Cloudminders. So,
Oh,
there
good.
you go. Yeah, isn't everyone excited for that?
Yes.
I am.
That makes so excited.
Mhm.
I just can't. Oh no, I won't go down that road.
I am Lord Garth, formerly of Izar.
I
and
do
I lead
enjoy
the future masters of the universe.
I do enjoy that we are discussing the production woes of season 3 of Star Trek in an insane asylum.
Yeah. It does make sense. And so, well, and an insane asylum run by the patients. Run by the
And I want to point out this is excellent because I've seen this episode before many years ago, but I've seen it several times, and I never realized the entire time he's hovering.
Yeah.
Right, he's hung up.
Right, but they don't
How do
show
you
any
think they did
contraption
that?
or whatever, so it's like he's just suspended, and I like that.
How do you think they did that? Because I was looking for
Oh,
strings
from the
or
back,
harnesses or
from the
something.
rear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you,
it's the rear
you can.
harness.
Yeah, you can see that there's a little thing he's sitting on that's painted the same as the back
Yes.
as the wall.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And
Gotta
notice
do it.
how we don't get to see Lord Goth use his phaser on Spock.
Yeah,
we
that's
come
right.
back,
That's
you know,
during
it's
the
like-
commercial break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right,
well,
that
we
was
couldn't
the-
afford a phaser blast except just that one time at the end of the show.
Yeah,
Bunch
we
of
only know it happened because he said it happened.
Yeah.
Budget cuts. Budget cuts.
Budget cuts.
Or time constraints.
But
Yeah.
they use the stun effect many times throughout this episode, and then with the
That's what I'm thinking.
explosion and the creation of the set outside of the window, I don't think that this was a cheap episode. It doesn't look cheap.
I was
It's
thinking it
obviously-
seemed like I thought it seemed more
It's
like
obviously-
time constraints. Like maybe there may have been a struggle, like Spock tried to attack, and in defense he shot the phaser because it wouldn't. Maybe it wouldn't look right if Spock was just standing there peacefully and the guy shot him. So there may have been a scene where they tried to fight and then he shot him. But that's why I was thinking maybe time constraint, almost like there's a scene missing.
Yeah, well, in the Cushman book, he simply chalks it up to budget. But the thing is, what you just said is more logical. They probably couldn't work it out, and time constraints both did it in.
But even looking at the sets, like this is not a redressed bottle show in terms of the width of the corridors, in terms of the development of the force fields. Like this doesn't look like a cheap episode. And
no,
Yvonne
but it does look like the
was,
Enterprise. It looks like because remember all the walls are portable and they just move them around.
Mm-hmm.
And in the original story, I think they wanted to have the hospital in kind of like a forest kind of setting.
What is this? Ewoks?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Jill is right. They wanted to have, instead of this gaseous, barren kind of world, poison atmosphere, they wanted a dense jungle with all kinds of critters and man-eating plants.
Oh, wow.
That was the original concept. And of course, that immediately got struck down because budget.
Exactly.
All the people of the galaxy who will not bow to my will must be confined or destroyed.
He's really sure of himself.
Yeah, I know. There's some people that can't stand his performance, but I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's why they don't like the performance, because he's so cocky.
Yeah, I kind of enjoy it, but I can understand why he would grate on people.
I'm fine with people who are supposed to be insane being annoying. It makes sense.
That's exactly what the censors hated, right?
I do want to say
technique I've mastered.
I do want to say hello to Herc 130. Hey,
Oh,
Flyboy.
of course. Hello, Herc 130.
Hail, Herc.
Hello, Herc 130. How are you?
Yeah. And Herc 130 has a channel too. My Mock Life, I think is what it is.
My Mock 1 for Life, I think is what
there
it
it is.
Keep
That's
your nose up,
right.
Flyboy.
Don't chop it off with the helicopter blades.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Goodbye, darling. I'll miss you.
I bet you will.
So, oh no, what's going on? All right. Oh, that's fine. Oh man. Okay, so let's see what the chat is doing. That is a good point. Saying hello to Herc 130. Just see if I've missed anybody who just joined us. We're reviewing Whom Gods Destroy, and we're having a good time. Nimoy came up with the Vulcan neck pinch. Shatner helped him with that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because Nimoy knew his character as a Vulcan so well that he knew Vulcans aren't going to punch people out. I need to figure out something different.
Yeah, that was for the Enemy Within, and they in the script called for Nimoy to sneak up behind the evil Kirk and conk him over the head with a phaser.
Yep, bump on the head.
And Shatner's reaction to the Vulcan neck pinch in that episode is the best.
He sold it. It really sold it.
He sold it. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, together they convinced.
Yep.
They convinced the creators of the
Yeah,
show.
they demonstrated it before they filmed the actual scene, and he sold it. They both sold it there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad Nimoy came up with that.
Me too. Franco Walker says Nimoy was getting more fan letters than Shatner. Yes, this is true.
Yes, that was his bargaining tool. Yes.
Yeah, that's totally true. And he was invited to more events than Shatner, and of course that rubbed Shatner the wrong way. And and yeah, he would come into the makeup room and shoot the breeze with Nimoy and joke around, but then when all the attention on Nimoy and his makeup process, it took away from Shatner, and he stopped going in there in the morning. And it's like, just to hang out with Nimoy, and it's like, oh man.
Well, Nimoy was getting his ears put on, and Shatner was getting his wig put on, pretty much.
Well, yeah, that's something else Craig says. So during this,
excuse me,
when she talks about it, she says she saw him with his hair in his hand.
Yeah, and it had green makeup on it, right?
Probably.
You could tell that they go out of their way for her not to touch anybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, she comes very close, but you could tell they said, "Now, don't touch, don't touch."
Kind of makes it a little more tantalizing that she can't quite touch you.
Well, when you think about it, overall, they treat her character very, very poorly and badly, and it's sad because Garth despises her from the very beginning.
Yes,
And,
he
and
does.
Kurt,
Yeah, he
right, and Kurt just
disrespects
wants,
her.
right, and Kurt just wants to use her as a tool to get out of there, so she's not treated very well.
Well, but
Yeah.
Kirk does that all the time, though. He always
That is
pretends
true.
to love a lady to save his starship.
That is
So
true.
Darius Munchausen says a shrewd businessman. Is that why he did the Bilbo Baggins song? And so yes, he's referring to the time Nimoy sang the Bilbo Baggins song. I really like that song, actually.
Well, as we all know, he eventually got the Me Too clause in his contract, where everything he shot guy he got, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's what they call the favored nation clause.
Nice. Classic Comics says, I regrew my hair, lowered my cholesterol, and saved 30% of my car insurance with cellular metamorphosis. Sign up now for my online course at just $599.99.
Or 12 easy installments of $59.99, right?
There you go.
Gosh, Classic Comics, that is so perfect and amazing because that's the one part of the episode that I have a bit of an issue with is the cellular metamorphosis. How did this happen?
Yeah, we
That's
go into
magic.
fantasy land.
Right,
Yeah,
magic.
magic.
It's magic. It's magic that no one else can do because the rest of the Starfleet never implements this ever.
Jill,
Nobody ever has this online course.
Jill, do you believe in magic?
I have to for this episode.
Yeah.
This is well, I love that Pop Culture said earlier something about Lost in Space. I don't know if that's the part he was referring to.
Well, it's amazing.
A lot of suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He can not only change his form, he changes his clothes, and he can mimic their voice perfectly.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I know. Action Comics says if he altered his voice a little, he could be so more Batman references are always welcome.
Yeah. More Batman.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Batman.
Someone overacted in Star Trek?
No.
Oh, who would that be?
Yeah.
For shame.
No. So great. I'm so glad you guys are here. So we're going to
Had a good teacher. Yeah.
Oh, Lord Garth had a good teacher. He did. And so yeah, this is the point that is fantasy. They don't really explain. They just give you the words cellular metamorphosis as Classic Comics gave us the advertisement. That was really good.
Yeah, aliens did it.
Yeah, aliens did it.
Yeah, they trained him, and he can do just what they can. It's like, what?
Mhm. Yeah, he learns it from the aliens, and only he can do it. Nobody else can learn this classic technique. Nobody else investigates Antos 4 to figure out how this happened. He's claimed to have developed the most powerful explosive in history with what at an insane asylum has all of the tools you need to create the most
Yeah,
powerful
that's the biggest whopper. It's like, what? How?
Well, you never know when that could come in handy at an insane asylum. You just want to blow
Yeah,
the whole
there you
place
go.
up, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. It's required for some of the darker portions of this episode, but I don't know if we really needed those darker portions. They just come out of nowhere and they're just there
Yeah.
because he's insane, and so we have to show that he's crazy, and so he blows up his girlfriend.
Oh, hail Fred Friedberger.
Oh, is that his idea?
Probably.
Well, he doesn't seem to be double checking anything. I think he's just there to say, cut the budget and give me my check.
Cut the budget as much as you can. Give me my check and give me an explosion or two.
But But I think that this is an expansion not only of the history of Star Trek, and maybe that's influenced by Axanar, but like there are so many things here that are almost like, oh, my father fought with you during the Clone Wars, and it's like, what the hell is Axanar? What is Axanar? How is you a warriors? And even then, when he compliments Kirk and says, you are a great military strategist, and Kirk himself says, I consider myself to be more of an explorer now. There was a time for war, but now is not that time. And the machinations of the megalomania of all the words that start with M, it's like, no, that's not what Starfleet's about anymore. Yo.
Yeah. It's like the taming of the West. And the expansion of the civilization moving east to west. We don't need the tamers of the West anymore.
We need
it's an evolution.
Yeah, and Scotty, where have you seen that control panel before? That
I was going to mention we do get a revisit of some of our most popular props.
Yeah.
And so, where does this control panel come from?
Yeah, Scotty?
I don't know. Please tell me.
Dagger of the Mind.
It's a Dagger of the Mind. That's great, because we also get the chair.
And we get the chair with these extra little headpieces that spinning lights. But yeah, the basic chair is from Dagger of the Mind too.
Well, notice the chair didn't have straps, so it works as long as you're willing to just sit there and take it. Sit back, relax while we torture you.
A volunteer torture.
Well, you got a couple of guys with phasers standing around you saying, sit.
Well, I'll take the phaser.
Yeah.
At least you're unconscious then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pop's got a point there.
They could be set to kill. It could be.
No, they need them. They can't kill them. They need that information.
Right. The whole point is extracting the info, right?
Right. I'd take the stun over the nerve torture or whatever you want to call it.
What they do is they use it more as a threat in this episode. Like when he wants the response from Kirk, he could have went a little further on the torture, but they know the censors only allow so much. So they kind of hint that, hey, I'll torture these people if you don't give me what I want. But
and they showed just enough.
Yeah.
They showed just enough to get banned in the UK, though.
I agree with you, but the thing is like after seeing Spock's torture at the hands of the Platonians, I'm happy that Spock isn't the subject of torture that makes Kirk change his mind. Like there are, it isn't just like, well, oh yeah, we're gonna beat up your best friend. And it is more about the altruism of Kirk as a whole. He doesn't even see Garth as being a villain. He's like, I can help. Like, why can't you remember why you were so great when I was fascinated with you? You were one of the greatest minds in Starfleet history at this point. And it is so much there. Like Kirk isn't trying to do this out of animosity. He wants, even when he first beams down, he's like, I admire Garth, Captain Garth, Fleet Captain Garth so much. Can I see him? Like he's almost enamored with the brilliant...
and he tells him that it's not his fault. His illness and what he's done isn't his fault. And that he can be helped, exactly like he said. And so that is an important plot point. But one of the things that I love here is I love the security procedure. It is so cool and fun. And this is an actually very useful thing. And I wish I saw more of this kind of thing in Star Trek. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why they didn't use it sooner.
Yeah, right.
It's military secrecy.
Well, it makes sense here.
I said, beam me aboard. I said, Queen to Queen's level 3.
And so, but he doesn't know the answer, so because he's Garth, and so he has a great
Lord Garth.
I love this tantrum.
Oh, not the chair.
Not the chair. Do you have the fist pounding on the floor?
I
Jill?
have it all. I
Well,
have it
good.
all.
Do it.
There it
Do
goes.
it. Oh, it's so
Right.
good.
It's like on set, they said, okay, Bill, let her rip.
Yeah, let her go.
Eat your heart out, Kylo Ren.
No, it
Yeah,
did
cool.
not. Aw.
I do want to say that this is the first time that I've actually seen Tellarites and Andorians work together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's a good point. Well, and they're following the leader for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
I guess.
Birds of a crazy feather flock together.
Well,
Well,
but let's not forget that these two, the Andorian and the Tellarite, are batshit insane. Sorry about the swear.
Oh, Herc 130 said I had the same tantrum when I got lemon juice in a paper cut.
Oh, no.
Ouch! That sounds terrible.
Is Scotty the same way when he runs out of a PB?
He's
That was
just
my
like
reaction. And that was my reaction when they announced TNG.
oh man.
Childish tantrum.
I
Sounds
really
right.
love this.
I wonder if Shatner learned that from watching his daughters.
Oh, that's an
Oh,
interesting
dear.
theory.
Couldn't have forgotten it, and I can't believe he was testing me.
I have a
So
question.
I get sure.
So they're beaming down to a medical installation.
Uh-huh.
Why is there not? Why didn't Dr. McCoy go down to the?
We can't beam
planet?
anybody down, sir.
Like, why didn't they, even in the Tantalus colony? Like, why didn't they sent down a nurse, a science, like a medical officer, but why would it only be Spock and Kirk that go down to
That's
Elba?
a very good point. For the same reason that we didn't send Spock down in that other episode that was where with the geologist and
Yeah, because the script called for it.
Yeah.
And I'm
But I
guessing
would-
they wanted to cut down on how many days that the bridge crew had to be on set.
Damn
That's
right.
true.
It
too,
looks like
yeah.
they may have only worked 1 or 2 days.
Well,
Yeah.
Pop, Stone Racket, Pop Culture Curator, and Jim and Jill.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you feel? How do you feel about Dr. McCoy being sort of the same Jiminy Cricket that he's always been to Kirk and Spock, but him doing it with Scotty, which I thought was a contribution and sort of brought our core 7 together. Now, I know Chekhov isn't in this, but I'm just like, McCoy is unafraid to discuss command decisions at any level, whether it be Kirk,
Right.
Spock, Scotty. How do you feel about that?
Well, you're right, but when Scotty mentioned they may be dead already, I thought it was odd that Bones had no reaction to that. Because
But
you think
Scotty's
Bones would
also-
react by saying, you can't give up that easily.
But Scotty he does cede some of his command to Dr. McCoy.
Right.
Like, he
But it
does
makes,
say,
it makes sense that McCoy's
Oh.
going to respect him just as much as if he was the captain.
How does he feed some of his command to Dr. McCoy? In which way?
well, if you imagine other bridge commanders that we've seen in the original series, whenever McCoy starts lipping off, which he is wont to do,
Yeah, he always does that.
he always does that. But Scotty is not mad at all. He doesn't buck against McCoy. McCoy
Well-
is, what about this? What about this? Oh my God, we have to do something. And Scotty's like, okay, cool your jets.
The bridge scenes happen because they have to, but the crew doesn't really have they don't do anything. Even at the end when they try to do something, it doesn't work, and they're just like, oh well. Hopefully they can figure it out.
Oh well.
No, they don't say it like that, but it's just you're right. They don't have that much emotion about it, and so I think you're right.
How can we
But
be
that is-
powerful enough to wipe out a
I
and
blame
still be so helpless?
director Judd Taylor.
I don't blame anyone. I think that this episode is okay. Captain taken hostage, and now we have to rectify this situation.
No, I mean Judd Taylor had to rush the bridge scenes, and so, but I don't know exactly if he did all the bridge scenes, but I was just being facetious.
Yeah. And so, yeah, definitely. And so he didn't really have, the crew doesn't really have much to do except say, oh man, we can't do anything. That's too bad. If we did something, we might accidentally kill them. So we better not do anything.
Yeah, it might
We
blow
better
up
not kill
everything.
them.
Did Uhura even get any lines in this episode?
No.
7. Yeah, she did.
0. What?
Yeah, she
No,
said
she had
something.
lines.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
had lines?
Yeah, she had something. I
She had,
remember.
"I, sir, there's no response." Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Or she could easily say, "Don't ask me. Look it up yourself."
And then she says, "No, Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott, it's the captain."
And then she was sent home for the day.
Mhm. Aye, sir. There
I'm
you go.
sure the
Those are
check's
all her
cleared.
lines.
Right. Hopefully, she had those thoroughly memorized.
Yeah.
No, Jill.
Yes.
The slide you have on now with that line.
Mhm.
How you feel about that?
Why can't I blow off just one
Yeah.
of his ears?
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Well,
Half
that
deaf.
that she needs to go back to the mental institution.
Yeah.
Don't touch Spock's ears.
It's like, don't you touch
She is
Mr.
in the mental
Spock's ears.
institution, but she needs to. Yeah, she needs to go back. What I meant to say is she needs to go back to her little cell, her little
padded room,
rig, her little room. Mhm.
We are going to take the Enterprise. I have to shatter every bone in Captain Kirk's body.
Commercial break.
Just in case anybody is listening to this podcast and doesn't know quite how evil Garth has become due to his mental illness. And of course, her illness is just that she wants to hurt people.
Why can't I blow off just one of his ears?
Naughty, naughty.
Yep. Hands off.
Quick question: Is the logo that is on Donald's tunic, is that the same? Is that the same?
Yeah, it's
image
James
or
Gregory.
same-
Yeah, it's
Is it
James
the
Gregory's uniform and Dagger of the Mind. It's the same symbol.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
And we also, right there behind Garth, we get that. I love that plaque on the wall. It's in almost, I would say, 8 out of 10 episodes. That
Which
pattern
plaque?
It's behind Garth's head, a couple of frames. Forward. It's in the larger
there's the
room.
medallion. Let's see. In this room?
Uh-huh.
Oh, there.
There.
Right.
Yeah.
Pops up all the time.
Wow.
Well, in Mirror
Keep your
Mirror,
hands off Kirk,
that's the one that
you treacherous thing.
That's the one that you press the button on and it raises to get the Tantalus field in Mirror Mirror.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Very, very versatile. Saves a lot of money on budget.
And I just wanted to bring up this quote because in the original
Keep
script,
your hands off Kirk, you treacherous thing.
I'm not talking about everything, but all of the notes from the network. You'll have to read the Mark Cushman book if you want to read all of them. But the one that jumped out at me was the fact that originally the line was, "Keep your hands off Kirk, you treacherous slut."
Oh.
Yeah.
You mewling Quim?
You're saying that word was actually in the script, Jill?
Yeah, it was written.
Ah.
It was they were like, "No, you can't do that."
And that thing on the wall in the back is not the one from Mirror Mirror. The one from Mirror Mirror was orange and had a different texture.
Yeah, a lot bigger too.
And it was wider.
A lot more bigger.
This one I can't place from other episodes. I'm sure it was there. What the
Yeah, a
heck
lot
was
of that. A
that?
lot of the crew had that in their quarters.
Yeah.
Oh man, I keep getting text messages. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's what that. Okay.
Yeah, I lost my notes.
She's getting texts from the great beyond.
You shut your mouth before I put something in it.
Jill, your sound effects on your phone, are those from TOS?
Yes.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
It's okay. You don't.
You'd best shut your hole before I make you fillet.
Communication sounds.
It's communication sounds.
Yep.
It might be
Subspace communications. Yes.
Yep.
You are nothing but a lime green slave of lust.
Actually, I think I might have done TNG sounds, but I'll have to check. Oh man.
No, that's the next.
Oh, I wanted.
It's okay.
I wanna
No
say
big
something.
deal.
Yeah,
I want to say
no big
something to
deal.
Herc 130. I just want to say, party on, Wayne. I don't know if his name
Herc
is Wayne.
130.
I'm just hoping that he says party on, Garth.
Party on, Garth. Yeah, and the connection there is in one of the movies, Garth, from that movie. He does make his own homemade phaser.
He does.
Yeah.
We do have to review Wayne's World at some point because there is a bit of a Star Trek connection.
Well, not that much, really.
No, but it's fun. It'll be a fun one. We can do that on a birthday or something.
Have you guys seen the video on YouTube? Have you guys seen the video on YouTube where a guy took a phaser replica and then put an actual laser in it, and he was popping balloons with it.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah, actually, I have seen one of those.
That'd be neat.
That might be the same one that I saw. Someone did build a phaser, but with our real life lasers, which can
I
be
blinded
beamed for
my dad with a laser pointer, so yeah.
Exactly what I was about to mention. You can blind someone with those.
Yeah, I remember when they hit really big, late 90s, early 2000, and they went to the schools and they immediately had to ban them. Kids were pointing them at everybody, and they were really cheap. You can get them for like $1.99, but they don't seem to be so popular anymore.
And they used to point them at aircraft too.
That they still do.
Still do.
The green ones.
Okay.
Foolishly. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I think if they can direct right down, they can see where it's coming from. So, I don't know why people are that dumb.
But they're really good for playing with cats.
Yeah.
But not a powerful one,
True.
but a little pointer one.
And dogs
No, I
too. My
blinded-
dog goes nuts after those damn lights.
I blinded 2 cats on purpose just to see if they would be able to.
You did no such thing. Okay, so
Snotty.
I just want everybody who doesn't know Scotty R37 that he never blinded anyone, not even
I
a cat.
did not factual blind any.
Don't try
cat.
this at home, kiddies.
Don't at me on X at Scotty R37.
Chico and
Because
Harpo.
honestly, people will get more angry at the cats than your dad.
Chico and Harpo are in attack mode now, Scotty.
True.
They're gonna get you.
Careful.
You're in trouble,
People,
Scotty.
people have yelled at me. I've been chewed out. Chewed out? Sure.
Chewed out and spit out, huh?
Okay, so I don't think I've talked about Yvonne Craig really. She was in
Incredible.
She was
Your
green.
Icon.
She's Batgirl.
yeah,
Is
she's
she-
that girl.
She's supposed to be an Orion. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. She's an Orion.
She's an
Ryan
Orion.
Slave
Slave
girl.
girl.
Well, I won't say slave girl, just Orion woman.
Yeah, she's just an Orion woman. We don't know the status of her freedom.
Yeah.
She was
Freedom?
obviously taken into custody based on something.
Yeah.
I didn't
She
think
was,
that Orions were part of the Federation. Maybe they were at this point. But I don't understand why she would
Oh.
be
Good point.
like she has to be taken into custody based on crimes against the Federation.
Yes,
If
that's
the
possible.
Orions are not part of the Federation.
Well, she does seem to have hostile tendencies.
Yeah, but
she's
nothing
looking
that
for
is.
Scotty. She's looking for Scotty R37. Yeah.
Well, I'm
she
not a
was
fan.
she was in By Love's Possessed, and she played the town tramp from the wrong side of the tracks who gets mixed
So
up
did
with George
I.
Hamilton. Then
I
she
was a
traded
town
licks
tramp 2 years ago.
with Elvis Presley. It Happened at the World's Fair, and Kissing Cousins from 1964.
I've never. Wait, have I kissed a cousin? I don't think so.
She was in the original Gidget movie too.
Yeah, well.
Joe D'Agosta said Yvonne Craig was like Sherry Jackson of What Little Girls Are Made Of for me, an actress I had a bit of a crush on. So
Oh,
casting
baby.
her to be flirtatious and dancing in one of those Bill Thice outfits wasn't hard for me.
Well, and it was her birthday recently, and she's passed away since. But there was an interview with her that said that she wasn't 100% on board with the remasters and transmissions of this episode, because she was like, my underarms were still human colored, and she didn't know how it would translate to the remaster, which was like 2003, 2000, early 2000s.
Somewhere around there, right? Early 2000s.
Yeah, and she was like, I don't know, because I don't think that she was ashamed of her performance in this, but she was curious as to how it would translate to modern audiences, as to seeing her like the makeup would be marred or unconvincing. That seemed to be her concern. And so I don't know. If anybody knows better than I am willing to be educated.
Mm-hmm. Well, she didn't really like. I don't think she liked being green. They couldn't remember. She
I
says
did.
they couldn't remember how they got Suzanne Oliver's green in the first season episode, The Cage. They somehow lost the makeup, so they had to devise a substitute formula. I had skid marks because the makeup wouldn't stay on. They sprayed me with liquid bandage, which had to be removed with acetone. So my skin was all burned. I was a walking disaster.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
Susan
too bad.
Oliver. Susan Oliver's green makeup is much darker and kind of greasier looking, and this is a totally different. Has a different texture to it.
A different
When
tone.
it comes to Orion's, Susan Oliver is superior.
Well, yeah, I like her.
In my
I don't know. I don't know which one I like.
Well, I like Yvonne Craig's. Excuse me, Marta's dancing better than Venus.
Marta's dancing is better, but Vina's not insane.
That's true. Jill, are you going to read the part about Yvonne, how she felt about her outfit here?
Oh no, please do.
Oh, I was asking you if you were going to read.
No, you should do it.
I have certain notes, but I didn't grab the notes on her.
Yeah, real quick, just real quick from memory.
Yes,
she really enjoyed wearing that outfit that Bill Tice made for her, and she said that she'd never, in all these different productions, she never pilfered, never stole any of the props or costumes, but she said she wished she had snatched that one.
Oh, I would want her to take the Batgirl costume.
Yeah, there you go.
Have everything.
Yeah, the Batgirl costume is awesome.
Oh, that reminds me. I have this picture from the book. Cushman book.
Yeah, Merv Griffin. Yeah.
Yeah. So this talk show,
I wore the same thing when I was on Merv Griffin.
That makes sense.
That is most illogical.
Imagine these days getting an actor to appear on another show in costume. They would never do that now.
Of course they would. They
did. And it's really cool.
Many times.
It's really cool that, in that outfit, you'd think, gosh, can you actually sit down in that thing? Well, apparently so. she's sitting comfortably there next to Merv Griffin.
I'm fascinated by Yvonne Craig. I think that she was a very charismatic actress. I think that she was a welcome addition to the Batman, the Bill Dozier Batman. And I don't know what happened to her. Do you guys know what happened to Yvonne Craig?
Well, when they brought her on, it was when the ratings were winding down. So that's why we didn't really get much of her character. As they were introducing her, the series was being canceled pretty much.
She has recently passed away, but what do you know if she had a Hollywood career in the 80s or 90s? Like she was
I saw her
she was iconic in the 60s and 70s.
Right. I saw her in a few guest appearances here and there, but nothing major. It was a shame.
Yeah.
It's just a testament to people who get into the entertainment industry and then they say, okay, I made my money. I'm done. I'm good.
Well, some did. Yeah. Some get married and want to have a family, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies with a science fact in the chat. Yvonne had a smoking hot body. Oh my stars, the curves are incredible. And as Stone Racket brought up, in terms of the costume for Marta, I was surprised how much, and this sounds less sexy than it is, but how much of her pelvis was shown. It was, oh my God, what a smoke show.
Yeah.
Amazing woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't use
I
that.
totally
word too
agree.
often, so I like when you do.
You're jealous.
I am above that sort of thing.
You're right.
He finds me fascinating, and you're bothered by
Yeah. Well, he
You're
said.
the only woman on this planet, you stupid cow.
Oh,
You stupid cow!
Oh.
Well, I'm the most beautiful woman in this galaxy.
Like third.
Third.
I wouldn't.
write poetry, and I paint marvelous pictures.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with her. I'd say sure. Right this
Shall
way.
I compare thee to a summer's day?
Please don't.
It was written by an Earthman named Shakespeare a long time ago.
Carl Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I may kill you with my bare hands.
I think they have one of the healthiest relationships in Star Trek.
Yeah.
You really think so?
No.
No, that was the joke.
That was.
Oh my.
Now, in terms of the score, is that the same score from The Cage?
No.
No.
So it's different.
That's new.
Yeah.
It was
I think she does a
composed
great job.
during the production of Plato's Stepchildren. Alexander Courage did it.
Ah, good call, Jill.
Yeah, I don't notice the armpits.
I don't
know.
either.
I know, but I'm watching the remaster as well, so I don't know if they color corrected the underarms.
They may have.
Yeah, she was worried most about the underarm thing when before she gets blown up, when she's outside in the planet's atmosphere.
No, not the pits.
Yeah, not the yeah.
He's unconscious by something. I like that too.
I know this is going to be
dear.
upsetting to a lot of people, but Mr. Londell's Groovy Movie says, take it off. At
Oh,
which
dear.
point I follow up with, show us your Orion teats.
Oh, baby.
And there's one more.
You can see
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
good. One more. Yay.
I came already. What am I going to do again?
Jeez.
Pop culture. What did you want to
Well, I was
say?
just going to say, you can see how she's very careful not to touch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah, not to mess up that makeup.
You can look, but don't.
extremely careful there.
Yeah.
Those are great. I love those. I think I'm going to keep those videos.
Don't put your Federation in Orion, is what I'm saying. But there are moments I did see sort of makeup rub off on Jim's tunic, and I did see a little wipe off of the green makeup on Yvonne Craig. And either way, it didn't take me out of the drama. It was fine.
I don't mind. I saw a lot more mistakes with makeup with the Incredible Hulk series. You always have
that makes
problems with
sense.
it on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it, but I'm glad you did. So you could talk about it.
It is somewhat reminiscent of the dances that Vulcan children.
Except the children didn't have such coordination.
Now, in the Cushman book,
Mhm.
it said that, Jill talked about they kind of lost the recipe to the original green Orion makeup, and they had to kind of improvise, but it was kind of a disaster. And the makeup team finally found someone outside of the studio, I guess from another studio. It wasn't clear in the Cushman book, but the rule was only women could apply makeup to women, and they violated the guidelines because they had a dude come in to apply her makeup in her trailer on the sly.
But that was she liked that though. I think.
Yeah, she approved of that because it took a shorter amount of time. It was more efficient. The thing is, she was in her trailer. She was totally nude while this guy was applying the makeup.
I was gonna say, I wonder if they would have gotten a gay man for that.
But the thing is, it's like, well, that's interesting. Yeah, Pop has a point there.
No, I don't think that that's a valid point at all, Pop.
No.
Why do you think that a gay man would be responsible for such a thing? Especially in the late 1960s when being homosexual was rather frowned
they
upon.
They did a lot where the gay men would do questionable things like that because the woman
it's
didn't
not
want to feel like
questionable.
It depends on your point of view, but the women didn't
You
want
think
to
that applying
feel
green paint is questionable?
Scotty, it's a matter
never
of
mind.
it's a matter of the woman being comfortable with the person performing the job. So it's just a job, so anybody could do it. And so I don't know the sexuality of the makeup artist.
And
he
that's
was
what
probably straight.
It
It doesn't matter, really.
It ultimately
all
doesn't
depends. It ultimately depends on the woman. If she's okay with it, then he can be of any sexuality. But it's just like when a woman wants a female gynecologist.
Okay, I've never been a woman. I've never needed a gynecologist, but this is just an observation on my part. And please, I'm not intending to rustle any jimmies, but like if you as a female performer are okay with a heterosexual male applying your makeup and you happened to get into a little bit of sexy time, it's not a matter of standards in the entertainment industry. It's a matter of consent. And so to automatically assume that the person who was applying green makeup to a beautiful woman to be homosexual, not that there's anything wrong with that, to quote the great philosopher Seinfeld, I don't understand why automatically a man engaging in makeup has to be homosexual. And I just don't understand your thought process. Would you care to explain?
Well, it would be unprofessional if that sort of thing did happen.
Unless she's into it and I want my makeup artist to enjoy the sensual nature of me. I think that most actresses, the reason that they get into being actresses is because they think they have something to offer, either through dramatic talent or through physical beauty. I think that is the nature of performance, and to be coupled with a trusted makeup artist if you happen to like have the sex while that makeup is being, as mentioned, Yvonne Craig was nude. Maybe she was like, come make love to your green girl. There's nothing wrong with that. The sensuality of humanity is something that I revere very much. And so just because a man is showing affection to a woman does not necessarily preclude romance.
Okay, Scotty.
I'm
I
very
want to say
passionate
hello.
about this.
I
Goofy
want to
chicks
say
have
hello
been doing it
to
since
Cam
the
Cam.
dawn
Yeah,
of
but
man.
I mean, I really hope not, because it is unprofessional, even if it is consensual.
What if
You're
she
supposed to be
liked
doing a
it?
job, and you're supposed to be like,
Sometimes
if
those
you did that,
jobs
then
boil down to blow.
and it's none of my business what Yvonne Craig was doing in the makeup
As
trailer.
long as she liked it, I'm happy with it.
But I'm not saying that she did anything.
What is with this puritanical exclusion of sex?
Oh my
I'm a
God,
big
Scotty, I
fan
want
of
to
sex.
move on. All right,
Let's
I
move
am
on
too.
then.
Yeah, come on. You're just really hammering
I'm
it
sorry for
in
yelling.
when I'm trying to
Sorry
have
for
a show. You are. You're really yelling about it.
I'm just a big fan of sex.
If it happens, it happens, but I don't think it happened here. And I just
Well, I
just
hope it
wanted to
was
make sure people
consensual no
aren't
matter what.
confused
I am.
that I'm saying that she did this. I'm nobody's saying she did anything.
I apologize
Michael
for
Walker
bringing it
says,
up.
no, it's okay.
No, I love talking about sex.
No,
You're
it's
fine.
okay.
I'm so
Franco Walker
confused.
says, please subscribe, share, and hit the like and hit the live chat. And I just wanted to make sure I hit the chat before I went back to the episode because I missed a few things. I missed the cams here. I finally got my girl to watch Blade Runner on Saturday for my birthday, tripping on mushroom gummies, the original 1982 version, the one I saw at 9. Wow, that's awesome. Did she like it?
Tripping, huh?
Great movie.
Mm-hmm. And Franco's not seen Wayne's World for many years, so that's how far back we are. I'm not falling for that anti-derivative, Jill. There's no such thing as wow. Why are the cute ones crazy? Says Action Com. And Franco Walker says he has a high-power Russian ex-military laser and scorch marks on my wall.
Oh.
Can I borrow it?
No.
Probably not. Oh, hey, hello, Jedi Bill is here. That is so awesome.
Young
Suzanne
William.
Oliver was almost too hot, says Darius.
I broke 2 TVs watching The Cage.
And
There was
okay.
too much hot.
Mm-hmm. And James Caserta is also here. I gotta say hello to James Caserta. Hello.
Oh, I broke my microphone.
Yeah, it could have been simply someone she trusted, sexuality aside. Thank you,
Oh,
Mr.
exactly.
Lundell.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like to me. It was a knowledgeable individual that could get the job done quickly and efficiently.
James Caserta preferred a female for his colonoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
If I was the makeup guy, I would be professional, but I would not be offended if the actress was too nervous to let a straight man apply makeup to her naked body. For sure, and that makes sense. It is up to the person getting the makeup applied because they're the ones who have to be naked.
They're not going to want somebody to apply the makeup that they feel they may be threatened by. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it is. That works for me.
Right. Their studio's not
Scotty
going to
wants to
themselves up to a lawsuit.
Probably.
Sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah, exactly. That's the most important thing is that someone feels comfortable enough and doesn't want to sue later. You're absolutely right, pop culture curator. Way off, Scotty. It's simply a matter of we're not paying you to screw around in the makeup trailer.
What a lack of fun.
Penny. Hi,
Darius
Penny.
says, I would only let a hetero female apply makeup to my naked body. Well, there you go. At least you make that known.
And Darius Munchausen, you can apply the green makeup to my body, and then we'll figure out whether or not we want to make sweet, sweet love.
Well, okay, and then we talk about Axanar for a little bit.
I'm pretty sure Darius Munchausen has no desire to make sweet, sweet love.
Well, I was just moving on.
Yeah, let's go.
Stream killer.
No, it's not a
This,
stream killer. It's an adult exploration of sexuality with a
is.
green person. And I am merciless.
Oh, I like this.
We will
Yes.
find that I am magnanimous and merciless to mine enemies.
And
That's a
then,
big word.
And also modest.
right.
You, Captain, a second only?
Second only to me. But Captain Kirk reminds him that he's
I am primarily an explorer now, Captain Garth.
And tried to destroy Antros 4. Why?
and the reason is
Rejected me, and I condemned them to death. Will obey my orders without question.
and
Alex
so
Peter does look like Garth.
well, yeah. He's clearly gone insane over a rejection, so he's insane. Of course he
Yeah,
is.
but Lord Garth,
Why did I
not
put that
Alex
down?
Peter.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I wasn't talking about Alex Peter.
No.
I don't know anything about his mental stability or instability.
I know a guy who knows a bit.
But the thing here is that Spock throws all of this logic at him, and Garth gets really angry about it.
He got peed.
Mm-hmm.
Will obey my orders without question. I am master of the universe, and I must claim my domain.
And so this is my favorite. This next one is my favorite line of the whole episode.
Dream that made Mr. Spock and me brothers.
Mm-hmm.
It is
And-
a mission statement for the Federation.
Yeah, and Garth asks Spock if you consider Kirk your brother, and Spock says he's got undue emotion, but what he says is logical, and I do in fact agree with it. Oh, here it is.
However, what he says is logical, and I do, in fact, agree with it.
Nope.
Here we are.
I studied your victory at Axanar when I was
A cadet.
Mm-hmm, look at that. Oh, and I love this question here.
Please forgive me, but exactly where is your fleet? Captain Garth.
Lord Garth.
As you wish. That was my favorite sort of analysis of Captain Garth is when Spock says, "All right, as you wish. I'm not really going to fight this because I know the fact."
Remove this animal!
And his simple assertion caused an emotional eruption that caused Spock to be taken away. And it is like, this is a degeneration of a madman. I didn't give it all the pluses that you did, Jim, but like I do enjoy this episode as strategy and capture and torture. This is not a bad episode, in my opinion.
Episode. Yeah.
Yeah, Franco Walker says Spock is like, whatever.
Whatever.
Sick and tired of this madman telling me what I gotta do.
Well, it depends whether or not you're tired of the trope of, well, it's usually an admiral trope, but in this case, it's a captain who's gone crazy, and this is another examination of that. So we have a history of this kind of thing happening, and that is that's most of the episode is exploring his mental state. For what reason? I don't know. It's still kind of a good episode. Not my favorite or anything.
No, it's not my favorite, but we'll get to the reviews
close.
later. Yeah. It's still better than Alternative Factor.
Yeah, it is better than Alternative Factor for sure.
And it's better than BEM.
Better than BEM.
I know
this animal. I do. I like BEM. I don't.
You love that colony creature.
I prefer that you remain here.
And yeah, because Kirk wanted to go off with Spock, who got carried away.
There are an infinite number of countermoves.
And that's Kirk not answering his question. Because, of course, Garth still wants the secret code to get on the Enterprise. He needs the ship. He needs that ship.
I could make you long for death, beg for death.
Tell him what he wants to know, and we'll go away together.
Gotham City?
Oh, don't beg, Marta. It's degrading.
Oh.
It helped many men back to health.
Well, there we go. That's where we are next.
I don't want to negate previous chat, but Action Com says Khan and Garth would have been the greatest battle simulation ever. And while watching this episode, I was like, this would have been interesting to revisit Garth. And obviously Alec Peters did it with, the Axanar show or whatever he was planning. But like, if Khan had shown up, and also like the Savage Curtain, if Khan had shown up, knowing what we knew in retrospect, it would be interesting to see these madmen show up again within the original series in the same way Q shows up again, or the same way that Harry Mudd shows up again. I'm curious. I'm just curious.
He does get cured not cured, but he's on his way to healing at the end of the episode, even though it does feel a bit like a lobotomy because he doesn't remember anything, but I don't know how he would work as a recurring character when his illness has been.
Well, it's the same kind of, like, I don't know. I'm reminded of The Dark Knight Rises, that Christopher Nolan third Batman movie, and it's like, I don't know. Let's put Khan in here, or let's put the Joker in here, and then he'll show up for a 2 minutes, and we'll call it square. It would have been interesting to have Lord Garth be like a mastermind. But it does, like, he's a pitiful character.
He is here. He's just got his fantasies of attaining power, and he never actually fulfills.
Well, the worst part is
destroying. He killed the people in Nantos, so he already.
But he already had power.
Yeah,
he was a man with great responsibility who ultimately went mad based on horrible injury. And so the idea of pity that is presented from Kirk to Captain Garth is like, I do feel sympathetic towards Captain Garth.
Well, insofar as that he has a mental illness that can be cured. I agree.
Because there is no actual destruction of tissue.
So that's an interesting thing with this device. It tortures you, but it doesn't actually harm you physically in any way. So your mind is suffering. I don't know how exactly that works, but that's a scary concept. Of course, Dagger in the Mind is the same thing.
It's waves. Yep. Certain waves will kind of heal what's going on in the mind.
First step is you just play a sound effect that sounds like wee-oo.
You really are becoming offensive to me, my dear.
Because she doesn't want Kirk to be hurt. And she said,
Please stop it.
My star. She is rather sexy.
She is. So there's something from the 365 book here. One suspects that Captain Kirk experienced a tiny, albeit indiscernible to viewers' eyes, moment of fear when he saw the chair that Garth was using to torture asylum administrator Corey, and of course him, in whom gods destroy. In the same nasty chair, slightly modified by the show's prop department, that Dr. Tristan Adams used to torture Kirk in Dagger of the Mind. Of course, the audience too may have suffered a collective tweak of deja vu, because Whom Gods Destroy may be Star Trek's poster child for recycling efforts. Props, costumes, and even film footage from previous episodes show up. Garth's garb originated as Commissioner Ferris's threads in the first season episode, the Galileo 7. You guys mentioned that. Good job, guys. Garth's furry collared robe was first worn by Anton Caridian in The Conscience of the King. Y'all also mentioned that one. The environmental suits that Garth's crazy henchmen wear while dragging Marta outside to die are the same suits created for the Enterprise crew earlier in the season for the Tholian Web. And the film footage of the Enterprise firing phaser blasts at Elba 2's force field originated as a sequence in Who Mourns for Adonis or Adonias, however you want, when the Enterprise fires phaser blasts at Apollo's Greek temple. Well, at least they get an okay. So Apollo blocks insane. Well, at least they get an A+ for going green, way ahead of their time. Cute. And okay. Just checking out the private chat. So yeah, the inmates take over the asylum, and that's it. And that's something of what happened in Dagger of the Mind too. The agony chair too, definitely something Nimoy talked about in a 1975 interview. Nimoy added, "I walk into a scene where there are two Captain Kirks, and one, that's the next one that hasn't happened yet in our slides, but he says." One is this escaped madman, and one is the real captain. Spock walks in with the phaser in his hand, and here are these two people both saying, "I'm Captain Kirk. Shoot him, Spock." Well, if you had a good writer, this becomes a great opportunity to demonstrate the very logical procedure to determine which one is the captain. But that's not what the producer had in mind. His major aim in that show was to shoot a sequence where Captain Kirk is fighting Captain Kirk, and the audience doesn't know which is which. Nimoy fumed. And when the fight is over, Spock recovers, and there stands the real Captain Kirk, obviously victorious. So I said, "This is wrong." And Fred Freiberger said, "No, it's perfectly right. We argued about this for days. He kept saying, 'We're going to have this fight.' And I kept saying, 'I don't care if you have the fight, but you've got to do it in such a way that the character of Spock is not destroyed in the process. I'm just not going to do it. I will not stand by and let you do it." And so eventually they did come up with a kind of compromise between those two extremes. So I think I'm really grateful that that Leonard Nimoy stood up for Spock in this instance. And there's one more thing he says. "I called Greg Peters, who is associate producer, and said, 'We're going to shoot this scene. My contract calls for me to be here, and I will be here, and I'll be on stage to shoot the scene, but I don't know how to do that scene. I don't know how to play it. The character in that scene is not the character that I know how to play.'" So
yeah, he was smart. I mean, he
Yeah, he
showed
was.
up. He was in makeup, but they couldn't fire him or discipline him for saying, "I don't know how to play this scene." So that was a nice little delaying tactic until they could work something out.
Well, and there was one more thing that we haven't. Did you guys mention her eyebrows being shaved off yet? Because
No.
that happened.
Yeah, that's tell the joke too.
The joke. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's all I've got. She didn't know that she got her eyebrows taken off. So Nimoy said, oh, actually, this is what Yvonne Craig says in the 50-year mission book, the first 25 years. I adored Leonard Nimoy. He had the most droll sense of humor. The first time I went into makeup, I had my eyes closed. When I got home, I realized they had shaved my eyebrows. They could just as easily cover them with mortician's wax, and I was furious. I said, if my eyebrows don't grow back, I swear to God, I will sue them. Leonard said, Yvonne, I couldn't help but overhear what you were saying, and I wanted to say, when I started the show, I went to a dermatologist, and he assured me that anyone who can grow a beard can grow their eyebrows back. And with that, he turned and left. So I'm standing there saying, grow a beard? Funny.
Oh, my.
He had that sense of humor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great story.
And so this is where Marta says, "Oh, I can seduce Kirk to get the information." But she says, "Oh no, I would never do that, really." And so you almost think that she cares about him until she pulls out a dagger.
Yeah. Are you going to tell that story?
Well, hey, maybe it's your turn to tell a story.
Oh.
But before we get to that, I got a few clips.
Oh, radio.
Yeah. Oh.
I can get him to tell me what you want to know. I think I knew I loved you from the moment I first saw you. I would have told him anything to save you from that torment. He's my lover and I have to kill him.
Okay, now you can tell your story.
Yeah, when Shatner defends himself against the dagger, he actually cut his hand.
Oh, poor baby.
Yeah, well, yeah. Of course, the way Yvonne tells it, that's exactly her attitude, was like, oh. And it's like, well, I'd be kind of ticked off if I,
Yeah, and
if I sliced my hand.
Yeah, that would hurt. That I would be
Yeah.
upset too, obviously.
Yeah,
But she does have a dangerous, she does have a different way of presenting the events that occurred.
Yeah, speaking of Orion women, they're supposed to have their fingernails are supposed to be razor sharp.
Oh,
But
they are.
but that's kind of, I don't know if that's more kind of behind the scenes canon, if you want to call it that, rather than.
When did that become canon?
Well, I remember reading that somewhere, and
Oh,
like I'm saying, it may be something that they didn't actually incorporate into the show, but that was an idea, kind of building up with these Orion women, that they were rather dangerous.
yeah.
But,
well, she was dangerous enough with the
with the
dagger,
knife hidden under the pillow.
Apparently, William Shatner needed some whiskey to calm his nerves, and
Yeah.
she
And
said it would have been more medicinal if you would have poured it onto the wound.
Well, yeah.
Oh God, she's vicious.
Yeah, she's a meanie. But just a little Bactine and a liquid bandage, and you're good to go.
Oh yeah, no, she didn't like being green though. She just said it was hideous. I would take 2 showers at the studio, go home, take an oil bath, and then take another shower to get the remainder of it off. Then I would start all over the next day, and I thought, there isn't enough money in the world to make me go through this again. And she also said 3 weeks later, she still had green makeup in the cuticles of her toes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like you said earlier, she found a better makeup artist on production day 5 that allowed her to not have to deal with quite so terrible of a time.
Yeah, it's just amazing how primitive the makeup, process was. And here you have, modern day, you make people blue, make people green. It seems to be a more sophisticated process.
It's so easy now.
Yeah, it's just
And so, guys, I do intend to get back to the chat, but I need to get through this episode first because it's 2:20. I've got 40 minutes to finish this review, so let's see if we can do this. Kirk suspects a trick and demands Spock give the countersign himself. Oh, that's the scene coming up after the dagger fight here. Yeah.
He's my lover and I have to kill him.
Yeah, she's crazy. I like the way she delivers that line. It's like, oh boy, look out.
Well, but it's also, I think it's a stereotype that most Star Trek fans and maybe subsequent Star Trek writers attribute to Orion women. Is like, we know they have the pheromones. We know that they are manipulative in terms of their coupling. But this is the one that, from Enterprise and moving forward, it's like, oh no, Orion women are crazy. And I would hate, like, you may call it the filth, but like, I think Tendi from Lower Decks, the animated series, actually is like, everyone thinks that we're just ravenous horn dog women, but we're not. We actually are calculating, intelligent. There is something about this that is just attributed to Orion women, and I don't think it's fair, because Orion women
that
are
goes
not
for lots
Marta.
Yeah, that goes for a lot of Star Trek species where they have certain attributes that are presented as defining traits of their characters in terms of how they see the world. And obviously, you're not going to have every single Klingon be a warrior, because some of them have to be scientists too, as it's shown in TNG. And not all Ferengis are businessmen, because also some of them need to be able to do other things. So you're going to have some
Dr.
generalizations
Rega.
about species that don't always line up with the character you meet, and it's always fun when that happens in real Star Trek for me.
The
But I
bucking
do appreciate
of the stereotype. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. That's good stuff.
Captain Garth.
Lord God!
Truly responsible.
Oh god, sorry, I interrupted your Lord Garth.
No, it's fine. Everyone wants my Lord Garth to be interrupted.
No, say it again.
Lord Garth!
Thank you.
Truly responsible.
Okay, so that's where he's saying you're not
this is
responsible for what's happened.
Exactly. This is such a level of empathy. And again, like, let's not forget.
Yeah,
Kirk
it's
and-
more empathetic than I would be. I think he's totally responsible.
It's something that is empathetic, and I think that it is acknowledging of the greatness that Garth, I forget his first name. It's in Axanar.
And you were the prototype, the model for the rest of us.
Revered.
I want you to go back to the greatness that you've lost, Captain Garth.
I am Lord Garth. Therefore, we hereby proclaim that I am Lord Garth.
Jill, can you do me one favor?
I don't know. What favor do you need?
Well, I would very much appreciate it if you exclaimed with the same bravado. Can you say Lord Garth?
Lord Garth.
Perfect.
Yeah, I had a coworker named Garth Livingston.
Oh my!
I presume.
And so I drove that into the ground. I'd see him I'm Lord Goth.
Oh my God, really? That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, I explained to him where that came from, and so he knew it was from Star Trek. So, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that kind of thing you definitely have to explain to people. Otherwise, you just seem like a crazy person.
Yeah, I just oh yeah, but yeah, he was one of my supervisors, so he humored me with my Star Trek stuff.
Oh, that's very nice of him.
Because he wants the power for himself.
Well, Captain, you continue to resist.
He does. And so, yeah, he's having a coronation ceremony because earlier he said, "You don't believe me because you haven't seen me coronated yet." And so now this is the callback to that. We're actually having that now.
Yeah, it's a good thing that table is sturdy
Right, 'cause
enough to support him.
Because that's really going to make all the difference. The table.
Yeah.
This episode is kind of crazy, but it makes sense because it's run by the insane asylum.
Yeah. Well, and I was thinking about this the entire time that they that table will be fine. Put a chair upon it. And I was like, I would be very concerned about walking up on a table with this flimsy chair. And so I'm glad if there are outtakes of him falling off of the throne, I'd be very interested to see them. But no, anyway, we'll get to it when I do.
The resulting explosion would vaporize this planet.
Sure.
Poor dear suffering child.
Blow her up.
Jill, I don't want to see that.
Well, I did not clip that part.
Gay.
Well, you could for Scotty, you can see it in the slides. It's still there.
I will. I can't wait until she gets blown up. She
imagine.
tried to murder Captain Kirk. Why are you guys simping for Marta?
Because for the same reason that Kirk
Because
has
she's hot. That is the definition of simping.
No, but that's not my reason.
You got the joke.
I wish Marta had an OnlyFans. It would be so good.
It's for the same reason that Kirk had compassion for Garth himself, is that we have compassion for her because she is also ill. She's also got an illness that she needs cured.
Exactly.
All right, you guys have a point. I'm sorry. I retract my previous
be
statements.
totally serious. That's exactly the way I feel about it, Jill.
Mm-hmm. So there it is. There's your explosion. Are you happy now, Scott?
I am. I'm glad she's dead.
It's green.
Wiped out everything. Immediate probe.
That's what I thought was odd because they're like, wiped out everything. No, it just happened outside the window. No damage.
Yeah.
Even the rocks are intact. But oh well.
Yeah.
Oh my God, pop culture, you're right. How could, I can see how they can see it on their sensors, but that it's such a big thing.
Yeah, it would take out the whole building there.
All of them, the window, the glass would blow in, everything.
Yeah.
It's transparent aluminum. It's not glass.
Or whatever it is.
Well,
dude, specificity is important.
Well, the transparent aluminum, even transparent aluminum isn't perfect. You know, obviously they get damaged all the time.
Indented.
Now, whose idea was it to give the Andorian that gaudy shawl? It's just ridiculous.
Well,
obviously William Ware Tice, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's just an excuse to wear goofy things.
No, but I thought, I thought it was worse
That's
than
true.
Garth having two different colored boots. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what I wanted. I wanted Jill to answer that question. Why does Garth have two different colored boots?
Right.
You know, in the early 90s.
He's going to the go-go.
Yeah,
in the late 80s, early 90s, having different colored Chuck Taylors was actually rather fashionable.
Oh, the double Vulcan neck
Oh
pinch.
my god, this is so cool, isn't it?
It is.
I like it.
A double neck pinch. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Of course, when I saw this as a child, I was sitting there going, "Okay, here we go."
It's the only way to ensure the safety of the Enterprise.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he was conscious, and then we cut, and then he's pretending to be unconscious, and I just went, okay. And then this the way his hands were while he's being dragged. I just went, okay, double neck nerve pinch.
I do think that this is one of the best moves that Spock has ever made, is that he is being dragged. His heels are dragging on the floor. He takes one leg up, steadies himself, and then does the double neck pinch. And I think it is boss. Like, this is one of Spock's best moves, and I don't think that it should be ignored. I appreciate this.
It's also a great budget and time saver, script-wise.
How?
Absolutely.
Well, because they don't have to have a struggle and a fight between the two, and on and on and on. It's just like, okay, cut next.
Yeah.
But the Vulcan neck pinch was based upon Leonard Nimoy's assertion that
I know
punch fights were not necessarily his jam. Well, okay. I'm just finishing my thoughts, sir.
No, I'm saying we all know the background of the Vulcan neck pinch. I'm just saying it's a big budget and time saver is all.
It absolutely does achieve that goal too.
I think it's character.
Well, to do two
as
at
well
once,
as budget.
Definitely saves point.
Thank you, Jill.
And thank you, Jill.
Yeah, because she said it could do both. Budget saver and character. So there we go.
And I would have
Stun him. Hold him, Spock. That's Garth.
I'm sorry, Jim.
And now the opposite. Character destruction.
I'm sorry I interrupted you with the video, Jim. Did you have a point?
And I would have turned on the force field to keep those two guys in there.
Oh yeah,
two people.
That's right.
I would have turned it on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You need the
and he has the clicker. Yeah, he took it.
Yeah,
that specific room that had a force field.
Yes,
the little the lights, the little force field for each cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. In other words, giving them the Vulcan neck pinch and then dragging them into the cell and reactivate the force field.
Correct. Yep. You got it.
That would have been Spock. This is why Leonard Nimoy had such a problem with this scene, because Spock doesn't behave as Spock would, which would be efficient and logical, and he would have been done with them as fast as he was done with those other two guys.
You got it.
I don't know. I can't tell which one is which.
Right, Spock, you must shoot. But you must shoot both of us. It's the only way to ensure the safety of the Enterprise.
I can tell who's who. They did a horrible job at getting there. Obviously, Kirk's one on the left.
That's right. Brilliant.
You're not supposed to notice.
I know, but that guy's shorter than him. He's out of shape. He's like 25 pounds heavier. I mean,
I was actually impressed with the stunt double, the Star Trek stunt double this time. I liked it. I thought it was appropriate. I thought it was appreciated.
Well, it was common at the time, so I don't mean to poke fun at Star Trek because
you're right.
Obvious on television a lot. So
yeah,
you watch any Western time, any show, that's how they all did it.
Hey, Captain Kirk's
1969 CRT.
Yeah, and also William Shatner would put his hand over the face of the other actor so that you didn't see that he had a different face.
Yes.
I thought it was good. Hey, Dad, man.
It worked for me in the heat of the moment for sure. Oh, hello, Dad, man. Thanks for checking out the chat. He's passing through, but have a great stream. Great.
Greetings and salutations.
Thanks for the 4 memberships. What? Oh, man. I do mean to get back to the chat, but I have to thank for the memberships. What memberships? Maggie... Taylor Swift greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU. gifted 1 anti-derivative jail membership, and Penny received the membership. Congratulations,
Yay.
3.
Oh, there you go.
Welcome, Penny.
Thank you for that gift, Matt G. Let's see.
You got a great turnout today, Jill.
Well, I know.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
wish I
wonderful people.
If I could, I'd be here for another hour, but I've got to get through this in 25 minutes now.
Oh,
but thank you so much, Maggie. I'll give you this.
My congratulations, Captain. Dazzling display of logic.
And at the end of the show, I'll play the Happy Meal video for you, the commercial.
Oh.
Okay, so we're actually almost through with the episode, so we're almost there. Let's get through it, guys. And so we will. Here are we.
As soon as you're ready.
Yeah, well, I got to find my video.
All right.
There I was. Oh, yeah, actually,
The medicine seems to be taking effect.
I do. So yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Kirk and Garth fight, and then Spock is inattentive, and he is, they push him to the wall, and then Kirk and Garth fight, and they fight. Kirk and Garth. The Kirk and Garthy show. And so then Spock takes his time to try and figure out which one to phaser. And then he finds out because obviously and logically, Garth is the more physically able of the two because Kirk has been tortured throughout the episode. I like that. I like the fact that there was a bit of a pause, a wait, an anticipation as to who was going to be the victor. And it does make sense.
Yeah, I think that's actually... Go ahead.
No, I think that you're following up. You're building on my idea.
I am. I think it's an acknowledgement of the problems that Nimoy had with that particular part of the script, and trying to tie it together to make Spock to save his character a bit, because it was such a strange scene that wouldn't go the way that most fans would think it would go.
Well, it's also a commentary on, because let's not forget that Garth was impersonating Spock earlier in the episode. And so I do appreciate the mistrust that was happening based on Garth's, I don't know, manipulation, transmodulation.
But let me just play the last couple of clips here, and you can give your overall review in just a minute.
We all can.
I know you, sir.
And so he's forgotten stuff. He's been treated with the medicine.
Mr. Scott, ready to beam up.
Aye, aye, sir.
And so what did you guys think of this episode? Starting with Scotty R37, what do you rate it?
I regard it better than I remember it. Watching it today, I'm giving it a B+. I think it is on par with Dagger of the Mind, and that's not a bad episode. So I'm a big fan. I enjoy the performance of Steve Einat. I think that he does a good job as a man who is, I don't know, like elevated, megalomania. The thing that makes him is like, I was broken once, but I will rise from the ashes. I think it's incredible. It's not the best representation. It's almost a rerun or a cover song. But I do enjoy the performances. Obviously, Yvonne Craig, smoke show. And there are moments when I'm looking at that costume and I'm like, really? 1960s? I get to see that part of your pelvis? Wow. Again, I've had crushes on Batgirl, and I just think it's a very interesting episode with bombastic, over the top performances, and yet all of those bombastic, over the top performances serve the story. So this is another one of those episodes where I'm looking at it and being like, I think season 3 gets a bad rap for no reason. And
Well, we're gonna have a reason.
Yeah,
but it's coming up next.
Oh, I can't wait. But no, I'm giving this a B with all the pluses.
You know what? I give it a B too. I really enjoyed the hopeful overall nature that we can solve these kind of mental illnesses in the 23rd century. It seems like such a hopeless thing now. And it was even worse in the 60s with the lobotomies and things. I don't remember exactly how the history lines up with what kind of things were happening to inmates at that time, but I'm sure it was a very contentious thing then. And to see an attempt to say, hey, in the future, we're going to figure this out, I think that's really great. But the episode is mostly just seeing Garth run around being crazy with all of his crazy cohorts. Exactly. And how he uses his shape shifting. So it's kind of science fantasy. Being a shapeshifter that easily, it just seems like it's a really overpowered kind of a thing, and it's a little bit goofy, but I accept it because it's a fun episode. But that's where I put it down. I don't think it's as good as Dagger of the Mind. Dagger of the Mind was definitely way more scientific in nature. So Dagger of the Mind, I think I had it A. This one, I bring it to a B. And yeah, so you just have to accept the magic that is within this episode. This is, I don't really read comics, but I'm thinking maybe this is more of that nature in terms of fantasy world versus science fiction. And and we've seen Two Kirks before, but we get to see it again, and why not? It's a little corny, but one of my favorite things is Shatner having a tantrum. So that's my review for that. Jim,
do you have that? Can you play that?
I could play it again. Sure.
Yeah.
I can. I just have to scroll back up to it. And then I'm going to have Jim give us his review.
Alrighty then. Well, I give it a big old A+. It's a good episode. We get to see Garth. I mean, we've never seen Garth before. We get to learn about Garth there. Plus, he got hurt and he had the ability to change, which was pretty interesting. I wish I had that. But yeah, when Spock did the double neck bench, like I said earlier, I would have turned the force field back on. That's 2 less people that you have to deal with. And the dogs agree with me too. See that?
Yeah.
But of course, at the end, they got the shots with the medication, and everybody's going to be a lot better. So that's about it.
Thank you so much, Jim. Great review. And pop culture curator, what do you give this one?
He's sleeping.
Okay, if Pop isn't back yet, then let's go with Stone Racket. Stone Racket, how do you grade this episode?
I gave this episode a C. It's just too ridiculous. But Yvonne Craig is the best thing in it. I did like Steve Inat, is how do you pronounce it?
How I pronounce it, I don't know for
yeah,
sure.
Inat. His performance was fine, except a few times it got a little over the top, silly in the silly factor. But yeah, Dagger of the Mind is I would give that a B, and this one a C. It's just, to me, it's just asked too much in suspension of disbelief. Just too many gimmies plot contrivances and that kind of thing. But it's a fun episode. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. But getting down to brass tacks, it rates a C grade from me.
Thank you so much, Stone Racket. So about the Shatner tantrum clip, Action Com says that clip was Shatner being told he couldn't charge for autographs.
I can't make a special edition of Star Trek V, The Final Frontier? No!
Hey, Pop Culture Curator, have you returned yet? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yay! Okay, hooray. So we're doing the reviews for the episode. Could you please give us your review?
Yes, I voted in your poll before the stream started. I have not changed my opinion, and that is a B. I mean, it's okay, but it's the story that we've seen. We've been there and done there before. And as previously mentioned, I think Yvonne Craig was the saving grace in the episode. You could tell where the budget was very tight. I think it may be, I could be wrong, but the closer we get to the end of the season, it's like the less money they have. But yeah, that's my grade. Thank you for having me on, Jill.
Oh, you're welcome. Absolutely.
Oh man, I do have to. One of the benefits of this sort of series, this journey that Jill has been going on, and she's been very gracious to include us upon, is I don't see the sort of, what's it called? The lack of budget. Like, I know they cut the budget, but I think that the creatives involved have done such a good job. Like the window out into the poison world, that where we get Marta exploded. Like, I don't see it as being an obvious representation. I think that my biggest complaint with season 3 is that they put it at Friday nights. They were attempting to kill it with a lack of viewers.
It was in the death slot. Yes.
It was the death slot, and notoriously known as such. But I think the episodes in production order, if they had been released in production order, I think it would have been more successful. The meddling of the network, no argument. But these, I think that season 3 of Star Trek, the original series, deserves better than the common assessment of it, because I don't think that they're that bad. I think that there are bad episodes, but I don't think that season 3 deserves what it has been maligned with.
But I think that's because we're watching it in production order. We can see it progress and get and go down in quality gradually, rather than have it all mixed up and get a really terrible episode in a different order that makes the whole episode, the season as a whole, seem worse.
No argument.
And so, and this is the part of the episodes where more network interference is creeping into the Cushman book. I keep seeing more network notes. It's more like the network is writing the episodes now a bit. And so now that probably accounts for the magical aspects of this episode.
And Stanley Robertson got his planet episode.
Stanley Robertson?
Yeah, the NBC executive that kept saying, we need more planet stories. And it's like, we got a tight budget. We're on the Enterprise again. Why does the episode have to start on the Enterprise? Can't we have a planet? He was doing that from day one, just about.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I still find this fine. I miss the on location shooting, but it's not Like, I don't think that this is that bad.
Yes,
I think
Scotty,
you were saying
we
this
get it.
earlier.
We get it. And
Con and
I'm
Garth
curious,
would
who's
have.
getting- everybody's mostly giving it positive reviews. I don't understand the defense. I give it a B. Most people give it. So I'm confused.
Well, one thing I'm
I'm
not
just
confused
being a
about
baby
is
with
that
my
I
teddy
think.
bear.
Did you read this
Say
chat?
that.
Oh my gosh. Did you read this chat earlier? Con and Garth would have been the greatest battle simulation ever.
yeah, that was read.
Okay.
That'd be
I
cool.
feel like it was. But now I can actually appreciate it. It does sound like fun. And I do think it was part of the conversation, but it's worth repeating because I really like that chat.
Yeah, that's
Who
cool.
mourns for mayonnaise?
Pop culture.
Oh,
Pop culture.
man.
May I address you?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Go ahead, Scotty.
I think that there is something. You know, when people get defensive about Star Trek and they're like, "Oh, season 3 is bad," like it is so pervasive amongst Star Trek fans that you become, or I personally, I don't want to say this about anybody else, but maybe I get more defensive about it because it is just something that is out there in the Star Trek ether. It's like people don't like season 3. And that's something that I believe. And when I get very, very defensive about season 3, that has nothing to do with the people that I'm talking about Star Trek with. Yeah, who am I talking to? I'm talking to other people who don't like it's just a cloud that exists. And so if I do present myself as saying you don't like season 3 and what you said earlier, it's like no one is shitting on season 3. It's just it's individual. Do you think that I am too defensive? This is my question. Do you think that I am too defensive of Star Trek season 3?
It doesn't matter to me. I just don't understand why we have to defend our opinions without being allowed to have them. That's all. I'd rather not discuss it if that's okay.
No, it's fine.
You're free to take up any discussion or drop any discussion as you wish, but I would like to say hello to the Reluctant Dragon. And yeah, it's really great to see you here, Yvonne. And Mr. Londell in the chat says the danger with Orion women was the pheromones they released. They would instantly control any male.
I believe it.
And so we don't see I think I just remembered a thing. We don't really get to see the Orions again until Star Trek Enterprise, right?
Yeah, and they got really good green makeup.
Yeah, by then the green makeup is down pat for sure. James Caserta said, "Oh, at some point Scotty did go to the bathroom." Yes. How did you know? Franco Walker says, "Please subscribe, share, hit the like, and select live chat." I didn't even. Yeah, they just use a spray gun these days. 10 minutes and voila. Wow. Yes, very good.
I've only
Kirk-
seen. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, Kirk was fanboying hard on Garth for sure. He was.
Yeah.
Herc 130 said, "Jill shouting, 'Lord Garth,' is adorable and not terrifying."
He's got a really furry coat.
Those explosive necklaces would make for a lovely Valentine's gift for my ex-wife.
Oh dear.
Jill, don't open the necklace.
That's so sweet. I'm just kidding. It's not. I won't. I thought she was outside the protective dome. Oh, yeah, that would make sense if she were.
Well, she was outside of the defensive dome of the mental institution, but she was not outside of the shields.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there you go then. Very good. Scotty on the bridge must be thinking, doesn't anyone know the secret code?
Yeah, exactly. Up, up,
Franco,
down,
that's
down,
hilarious.
left, right. A, B, select, start.
Oh my god. Is that a real code? What's that one? Is that
Well,
the
it's for
Konami?
Contra. I think it's
Oh,
Infinite
Contra.
99 lives.
Nice. Good episode, says Londell. Scary in parts because you're dealing with insane characters, but good. And so, yeah, agreed. Matt G says, I got a gifted membership to a channel about pirates yesterday. One of Jill's chief flaws is that she doesn't talk about pirates. Okay.
I think you should say yo-ho. Can you say yo-ho?
Yo-ho.
There you are.
And Jill, can you go arg?
Oh, I'm very bad at arg.
Okay.
Arg.
There you go.
Oh my god. Okay, so I will find a pirate. Is Time Bandits a pirate movie? I need to figure something out.
I don't know, kinda. We should totally cover
because I wanted to do that one anyway.
Yeah, that would be a great movie to do, Jill. Time Bandits.
Yeah, I just
I've
know
never
I
seen
want.
it all
I'm
the
just
way
picking a movie that I want and hoping that it fits what Matt G wants. The weaknesses of this episode are more than made up for by Yvonne Craig's dancing. I don't think since Yvonne just got here, he hasn't seen it. So here it is.
Oh, baby.
I have an erection.
Oh my God, Scotty, stop with that.
It's not my fault. You played Yvonne Craig.
Yeah, but you don't have to announce it. Nobody
I
needs
don't have to
know.
say the physiological response.
Yes, that's true. Action Com says kind of Garth. Yeah, because Stone Racket said it, but he said it in a more tactful way.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was having a conversation with adults.
Well, yeah, but it's my channel, so if I don't want that, then
we can edit this out in post. It'll be
no,
fine.
I don't have to edit anything. They both need starships to conquer the universe, and both are nuts. Con
Biggest
and Garth
Perry
have
ever
a
seen,
lot.
Dingleberry.
Con and Garth have a lot in common. Both need a starship to conquer the universe. Both come from poisonous planets. Both manipulate Kirk. Both are nuts. Oh, okay. So he corrected his grammar there. That does sound a lot better. Thank you, ActionCom. Goldicott asked for an Orion woman while on his way to Federation prison.
You know what? I would be interested to see that ActionCom. I would be, you know what? If Goldicott sounds like the kind of guy who would be like, bring me an Orion.
Yvonne says she doesn't need pheromones to control me.
I agree, Reluctant Dragon.
Yeah. Great. All right. So also the chat gave us a rating for this episode. So let's take a look at it before we head out. It is about time. There was a poll. Yes, there was. And so let's check it out. I've got to share my screen. I'm sharing my screen now of the chat. And there it is. And so with 57%, B wins the grade B. So most people who watched this episode and voted on it in the chat give this episode a B. 32% give it an A. And 11 gave it a C, and nobody gave it a failing grade. So that is wonderful.
Gorilla was
like
here.
You're saying, and like you were saying earlier, Scotty, this does make it seem like season 3 is not so bad. But I feel like we're going to get so many episodes in a row coming up that are, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm saving my F for Turnabout Intruder.
Well, let's hold our opinions on future episodes yet. But I guess for like mini episodes, I'll start a review and I tell you right away that I love it, and so the opposite may be occurring soon, where I just start a review where you know right away that I don't like it. Whenever a woman who is 5'4" complains about being short, I tell her she's in good company, says the Reluctant Dragon. I would have loved to have gotten that tall.
Yeah, but on the on a different metric, you are looking forward to the one day that they reduce the height restrictions on roller coasters, because you are knee-high to a smirk.
You keep thinking that I can't ride roller coasters, but I totally can. So, but I need you to tell me what you're doing around on the internet, because I've got to run. I've got to go pick up my children and things and stuff.
I want everyone to go and check out Cinema Gulp, because he is talking about some delightful romantic films just in times for what's it called? Valentine's Day? I've heard of it. And I also on the Phantasmagorium, we're talking about Fargo, which is a delightful series. If you are a fan of crime drama, you should check that out. And then most of the time, I hang out with Jill, because she's my best friend on the internet. Also, if you want to eliminate me on X, I'm on X at ScottyR37.
You had me worried there for a second, but then it turned out okay. Sounds good. Okay, yes, I'll put in your Twitter link also. And
don't.
The Reluctant Dragon says that Dolly Parton is only 5 foot even, and so I am taller than Dolly Parton.
Yeah, but Dolly Parton is top heavy.
Okay, Jim, what do you have going on?
I've been doing some editing past few days and getting Commodore Boone Return almost done. Still waiting on a couple videos come in. I got to do one myself. Chief Engineer Red's got a few things to say about that one. So about the same old thing. Just stay tuned to Commodore Productions. You never know what you're going to see.
Yeah, awesome. Star Trek fan films and puppies.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome. And Stone Racket?
I have cats.
Meow.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Largo6583. And other than that, I hang out with Jill and Pop Culture Curator on their respective channels, talking about the things we love.
That's the goal, is talking about things. To remember the good storytelling that's out there, that we don't have to worry when things are not good right now, because we've got so much cool stuff in the past.
Yep, it's especially in these days, they're trying to erase the past. They're trying to tell us what we love.
Shut up.
No, they are. Don't shut up. Scotty, he was in the middle of
I gotta
something.
go. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for
Oh,
having
wait a
me on,
minute. Wait a
Jill.
minute. Wait a minute. No, you can't go yet. Pop Culture. You've got to tell us where you're. I know you've got to go. I just learned this second that you have to go, and I was grabbing your link because you're next to tell us what you have going on.
Well, Tuesday night we have a horror sci-fi stream tonight, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Planet of the Apes from 1968, for my good friend Gorilla's Renaissance birthday. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, Gilligan's Island. Saturday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, Rumblings from the Lab. And then on Monday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, the classic Lost in Space. And I wanted to say hello to everybody in the chat. Good to see you. Sorry we didn't get a chance to talk much. And thank you for having me on, Jill.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I hope you have a really great day, and you are welcome
Likewise.
to go if you feel like it. And I appreciate you being here, and all of your inputs to the episodes are really
Thank
valuable and fun to listen to, as always. And I can't wait to
it's
see you
always
next
great
time.
to be on your show. There's no other channel I'd rather be on than yours.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me.
Always my pleasure. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye, Pop.
Bye-bye, Pop.
And there we go. And that is lovely. And it's always good to see him. And also always good to see everyone in the chat. And y'all make me so happy that you want to talk to me about Star Trek and all of the other things that I talk about. I talk about other sci-fi movies also. I don't really know if IQ is a sci-fi movie, but I'm going to talk about that on Friday. know
it's
it
going to
is.
be so fun.
It's going to be, I think it's more like a historical science movie, but not really
It's a
historical. Like it's not
It's
really
a
realistic.
Valentine movie.
It is.
Historical.
Historical Valentine movie. I don't know what it is. No, it's not. It's not going to follow history at all, I'm sure. And so that'll be.
It's got
a good
Walter
time.
Matthau. It's so fun. And it
Mhm.
does bring up some very, like, it brings up mathematical hypotheses.
So I've got work to do. I have to look at these equations. And Franco Walker says, "Take care, everyone, and much love to you all. You too. Thank you so
Agreed,
much,
Franco.
Franco Walker, for being here." And there we go. And I appreciate it.
Are you ready to jet? Are we done?
I
Is it
am. I
over?
am. I'm just looking for my. Yeah, I am. I'm just looking for my videos to close out here.
All right. Hey, Jim, I love your
And-
body. And Stone Racket, I love your mind.
No, you don't.
No, I do.
yeah,
I
he
do
does.
like your mind.
Sure.
Okay. Anyway, guys, next Tuesday, we're going to talk about the Mark of Gideon. So here's the preview trailer for that. I'll talk to you
Oh my
guys
God.
later. Have a lovely Tuesday.
You too, Jill.
Yep.
Right.
Take care.
Keep
Bye-bye.
on trekking.
Yeah, there you go.
I refuse.
Is anyone aboard?
All bridge personnel report immediately. Engineering. Mr. Scott?
Captain Kirk? Captain Kirk was transported down.
He never arrived. Who are you?
If you didn't bring me here.
That's right. Who has brought you here?
I request permission to beam down to conduct the search for our captain.
Permission denied.
You're gonna let him get away with that?
This would be madness.
Transport me down right this minute and I'll prove to those...
I cannot accept the responsibility for ordering a fellow officer to violate a Starfleet directive. I can make such a decision only for myself.
You come to die.
I don't know. I only know I'm happy.
Thing I need to play for Matt G. I said I would play it at the end. So this is for Matt G. If you're still here, also known as Taylor Swift is greater than Disney Star Wars.
True.
For you parents who don't speak Klingonese, he's saying, people of Earth, unite and bring your kids to McDonald's for a Star Trek meal. That's a regular hamburger, fries, soft drink, a McDonald's and cookie sampler, and a Star Trek prize. Oh, yes, 5 different boxes based on Star Trek the Motion Picture. Action scenes, jokes, games. He says, take it from a father who knows. His kids love him. McDonald's Star Trek meal available for your kids now.
I want a Star Trek Happy Meal.
Yeah, me too.
Learn all that is learnable.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, you know, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.